So yeah, I'm basically just on Fortnite just to look. See, I don't even know nothing about this new change, bro. What the hell? Get that shit off my face. But yeah, I'm basically on here for this. Oh, fuck me. Oh, fuck. Dang. Fuck. Get another one. Hold on, man. But yeah, I'm basically just got on here just to show that. So yeah, that's about to be on here while we do stuff. You know? You feel me? Yeah, okay. Yep. I just want to whoop, whoop, hey. And everybody start uh fucking uh fuck fuck. Oh, they thought fucking Call of Duty was finna give Deadpool a ring. Nigga, no. I don't like them niggas. I don't like them niggers. No. Y'all ready for this? They trying to get $40 on me, y'all. Oh my God. Oh, now I got this. Hey. I just want to hit on with too. Break, make her feel great, make her feel great, let's take her home by plane. I just want to buy them. Nigga, what you talking about? What you saying? What you saying? Who you saying? You know what the one that the 2 and the 3? That got 47 now. You keep that down. Now she got a big time. Yes, sir. Just to put some on in the background.
Well, my friends, welcome to what is definitely going to be some Google ups and downs and ideology us right now. We're literally just going to have a conversation about it because I think it's very heavy now. That's why comes about people in this episode that things are really, really bad. They're not really, really, really bad. Sometimes life things happen. It's not about me, sometimes I don't care about that. I'd like to be another one. You want to have a conversation right now together. Talk about loud. Why have the episode? Let me get started big on really have what happened to my own house. There's the other about my name. And they killed him. That's what happens. And he was talking about Angela and poke in the eye. She wasn't being selling some things about it. It was like, I'm sorry, boy. You got that real bad people. He liked the picture because they have to do it. That is, they went to it. When number one was then recorded. That's what Ellen Knight was backstage story. He said something along the lines of, I'm going to teach Santos Escobar. It's a mystery. But it wasn't being Santos versus like, of course, Escobar very rightly said, look, you can be in that freeway very qualifier. And I was convinced at the end of this local would fuel card distraction, WWE, and pro wrestling's favourite too. Then they might be like, oh, I can't believe you cost me the match. Now, Logan Paul was here. Not do any of this. But Escobar's been trying as well as well. She just run at LA Knight and moved out of the way. Proceeded to book his tickets until, of course, LA Knight was giving him 10 minutes in the corner. Santos grabbed his head. Jordan didn't. I didn't see the term much more. Well, that's not very good. But that's the charges. And I think because the Gallagher Phantasm was like that, Santos Escobar then took the ref, Electra Lopez, and walked up to LA Knight and gave him a big slap. Just heard there, the evidence is sound exactly the same. Those around Santos, they hit the 619, which is the commercial break, very interesting. When we get back, he slammed LA Knight with the gun. This one was like, this is going the wrong way. Santos wasn't doing it, right now he was it. So he might get that back with a bunch of elbows and stomps, which is a bit like a big gun for the ring. LA Knight was just there, which is opposite what he usually says. He goes like it, and it looked like Escobar was going to hit the fan quite well. Instead, LA just grabbed him. PFT 1, 2, 3. So those rounds must be true. That was like Paul did get into it afterwards until Santos Escobar was back and he helped out Logan Paul with the rusty numbers again. And they even shook hands. So, know what that imagine perfectly fine. I enjoyed it, and in fact, he definitely win that battle SummerSlam. Just super duper exciting. So that's getting enough. But I just think it was it's such an easy storyline. So Escobar does beat LA Knight here, courtesy of no promo. When LA Knight does win that belt back on WrestleMania, who could be his first contender? Sounds Escobar. I have a feeling it's going to be his first contender for that belt anyway. This would have made more sense. And some people like being a nerd. That's a narrative. We then had my own interview, and she only had one thing she would have wanted to say, but that flattens up Blair down gosh. This is because Blair keeps attacking her and saying, oh, it was Jay Cargill again. Blair walked in and said, no one know me. You are right. See ya. Just walked to the ring. I think they're very good friends. There was a couple of Logan Paul was walking backstage here as well, and he said something along the lines of, I have a surprise for LA Knight when we get to SummerSlam, because I'm the face of Cleveland, and you're forgetting all other major Cleveland live events. Logan has always brought someone to play aside when I show speed. So maybe another YouTuber is going to turn up and say, okay, for free, take me. So I don't know, but I suppose this is a good tease. Something going down in Cleveland. This is what the angle of Cargill did come to the ring, so we think one off for a specific reason. And they essentially said, oh, hello, I'm Lord Amplifier. We don't much like you or want you to come out here and accept our challenge for the tag team titles. Which was the champions we started playing, which made Jay and Bianca look very silly. The two appeared from behind to whoop their ass. Now they're Lord Amplifier. Now because Cargill and Blair are look like superheroes, they still absolutely whoop their ass. I'm a little bit worried about things that we will look at some snap maybe the SmackDown forces. If you had told me it was just the cast of Jade and Bianca work, I would be to a silly point. So I'm just going to wait and see. But I do have to say, this came and went with no real history. You know my opinion on these tag team championships. I just think we could do so much more. And here you do have two great teams, but it just needs like a thread woven through. So it's way more interesting. We ain't getting it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad with it. It's a perfectly fine system, but actually we are suffering. It's all the stuff we've done before this, and when those habits disappear from TV, which almost means they need double the love, and only people begin to sing the love. Everyone sing the love. Cold, lovely MP games. So I'm going to give it a down. Not because it was bad, I just think it could be better. Terrence Crawford and the Street Profits then hooked up because Terrence was still there. And SmackDown was a tape show, so it was in the same arena. But if you weren't watching it from a viewer's point of view, it must have been like that. Terrence realized his wrestling. And also Nia Jackson, Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany was so upset that briefcase had been beaten up, and I was like, don't worry.
You know what?
I'm going to give you a do. I will bet my head when we do see this spilling the super pink. Which took us right into our tag team corner for the side who was taking on DIY at SummerSlam. Given that Jacob Branch, who had been substituted in here, it's pretty obvious who was going to win. We did start off with Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews taking on a girlfriend as well. So this was kind of cool, because these two teams have been beef recently. Now we can settle it a little bit. Now we're going to try a jump start here, put Baron to Cobra and just whip their ass. This is the way to treat Corbin. I think we all forget how big he is, so he should be treated like a big man. Which is why later on, when Apollo did that thing where he grabbed Baron and throws him to the outside, it's like a double positive offense strategy. All we need to sit there and go, that's absolutely ridiculous. And Baron Corbin, a big man. Now, Baron Angel for a little bit did do some double teaming. Baron was back in the end of days, and he got the 1, 2, 3 that was for this week. We need to reestablish him in the days. He's as a badass finish, which is why most things we Baron Corbin were called Bruce Span. I was just over the moon and got me. Sadly though, then did take all the Street Profits, and I was like, well, I was going to guess anything. I would imagine Morgan's scored and go all the way to the last match. The next thing we have to talk about is this back suplex onto the sport. We think of Apollo Crews. I think that's somewhat the meltdown. Yeah, the great white area. I can't talk about it. But my sister wants the bloke who was dead. It's absolutely terrifying. You know what? Red Hot tag for Angelo Walker, which I do like, because I'm not saving on that character. He's down. Well, of course, we've got a dive from Montez, and we've got a dive from Cruz. How the hell are we going to have a track team actually do that to report that pass? Ultimately, though, Dawkins go out of the way of Apollo. He can't dodge, because Floyd Montez will pin off the top with the splash controls. But they bring him for the 1, 2, 3. Sand, ultra, we like to call it that. Perhaps he thought this was a fun match.
References and little things we might have missed
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Wee 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 wee. Oh wee 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 wee. Oh yeah 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 yeah. Okay, let's stop playing. Since I don't want to watch that right now, I'm gonna watch this.
There's a peril in every connection we make. So go ahead, tell each other place. Listen to the waves crash. What can you when we celebrate friends? Say I do to the greatest love of your life. Celebrate and appreciate all of those connections that keep it alive.
Bam bam bam. Na 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 na. Na na na. Ay, no, 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 bonito. Ay, no, 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 Of course I don't got nothing grinded up. Never fucking do. I'm off of brownie and everything, bro. Like, I'm lit.
This scene right here really does look like something out of a cartoon because you know what I'm talking about? When you bring the ladder and they speed up the camera a little bit. Shit. Yeah, that is a miss. It does not. It's already coming down. You ain't gotta cut a piece by piece. But it look cool if I do it. You're like something out the damn Three Stooges. Yeah, man. Yeah, it does. Finally, people are being treated to the long-awaited team-up between your boys. Oh, look at that slow walk. Yeah. Oh, look at that original yellow suit right there. Got that finally putting that spandex on right there. Oh, and even Deadpool looking kind of cool. They acting like goddamn fool right now. Not at that moment. Not at that moment, no. But once he shut his but 2 seconds later. But 2 seconds later. 2 seconds later. Back at it again. See, the thing is, everybody's looking forward to this. Like it's almost the first time, but some of us, we've been shot in the head with antimanium, or whatever the hell it is. Antimanium, whatever. And we forgot that this is not their first team up together. A lot of us forget this is not the original right here. No, a long time ago, your boys, they met in another film at another time. They grew up together. And yeah, a lot of y'all don't remember this motion picture right here. In fact, some of y'all have chosen to forget, but there was a time we had that much anticipated team up in a much different movie. What the is that? Back in the day, people were like, I can't wait for this shit right here. I mean, it's got to be good. I mean, you see that trailer right there? Oh, and also, I hear rumor that we finally gonna get a big screen appearance of Deadpool up in here, but that's gonna be so good to keep that a secret. Merc with the mouth. Ooh, the Merc with the mouth up in here. Oh man, I cannot wait.
Where's his mouth?
Please don't lie. If you go out there and start watching it anyway, people went to the theater to see it, and needless to say, a lot of people were very, very disappointed in this film right here. Why? Well, that's what we're going to get into. Now, here's one thing that you can say about this movie. If it weren't for this movie right here, again, Silver Linings, I'm going to get thanks for something. Let's go ahead and thank this movie for being so bad, at least with the portrayal of a certain character, that it only helped speed up the proper version of that character, which we got later.
What? This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants.
Daddy needs to express some rage.
So, that movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine, portrayed this character so bad that Hollywood had no choice. 20th Century Fox had no choice. Ryan Reynolds had no choice but to make up for it.
It lit a fire under him.
Oh yeah.
He always wanted to play that character. He found out it was going to be in Origins. He said, like, hey, cast me.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. You got a story about that. I'm going to have that from his mouth right there.
Oh, okay.
A little bit later. Yeah, that was a whole interview. Y'all was saying, you know what, Ryan Reynolds, you take some blame for this too. Why'd you even do it? And he actually has an explanation.
Yeah.
And a good explanation for it. We don't talk about Green Lantern. You know what? Unless we do it on a roast, maybe we will talk about Green Lantern today. But you ain't get off on today. Come here. We talking about you today. Yeah, come here. I made some good movies. Come here. Folks.
Are you?
So, this movie right here, of course, it is called Origins, and that's just what it means. They want to do a series of movies. They said, we're going to do the origins of certain. I guess
we're going to do Magneto and Professor Xavier.
And in a way, they kind of did.
Well, that was the thing. They were like, they hadn't abandoned it, and then once First Class, like the script, they got the script for First Class, they were like, well, this kind of covers that. So.
Yeah. So this is the origins of Wolverine, from being a little Wolverine boy, a little Wolverine cub, to story with the complicated relationship with his brother, to him just trying to live a normal life as much as a mutant super being with claws in his hands can live, up to having to stop the man that created him from hurting and destroying other mutant kind out there. So this is a movie where, you know, it's a shame because there are, as we were saying, there's some bright spots in there. It's some promise in there. Had a pretty good director behind it. I got the director's name, Gavin Hood. Yeah, I remember a lot of people even looking forward to this guy to direct this movie right here. But I think, I'm not going to blame the director. I think a lot of students.
Quick, it's about to start. Grab the glass. Take a seat.
Interference, man.
Yeah. Almost anytime you see a movie that just goes horribly wrong, it's a studio.
So it's not a bad concept. You know, it's called Origins. So there's a lot of interesting things that we see with the backstory of these characters, which we're going to get into right now as we get into the roast. So what I like about this, and with the right director and maybe somebody coming in and trying to stick to a good script, they had a good thing going. I actually admire some things that they were trying to do. So in the beginning, it's a lot. It's a lot to cover here, and they weren't given, wasn't back in the day when they were giving everybody 2.5 hours to do what they had to do. They said, listen, you got about 1 hour and 45 minutes to get this shit done, and that's including the credits. So you better hurry up and tell this goddamn story that you're telling right now. All right, hurry up. Tell us about yourself.
You're already behind.
Yeah. Tell us about your mother. Tell us about your father. So, they try to set up a lot of information in as little time as possible. And I think they do an okay job with that. So we learned about little Wolverine, who was not little Wolverine, he was not even little Logan, he was little Jimmy at the time. Little Jimmy. Little Jimmy had it. The thing we know about Wolverine, one of the things that keeps him living, I mean, he's almost indestructible, is that he has those healing powers. Man, back when he was a little boy, he didn't always have those healing powers. In fact, he was kind of a sickly little kid.
Brother was sick.
But apparently his brother was always an asshole. That's his brother. Jesus, who would later be Sabretooth. You're always sick. And since there's a lot to explain in a short amount of time, there leave some things for the audience to piece together. Like maybe we learned that, maybe, I don't know, I think this is a good guess, little Wolverine's mom, I think she remarried some rich dude right here, because
tripping.
His brother right here had another dad, who occasionally, you know how it is, deadbeat dad that's out of your life. He don't come back in unless he gets drunk.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
back there get a little something. Come back to the house. Hey, woman. Hey, I know you didn't. Hey, I'll pay for this house. This dad shows up.
Well, you get the impression that that Victor and the dad work for the dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Your father's drunk again. You should help him home, Victor.
It's not my name he's calling, sir.
Why, you gonna do me like that? Wow, really? That's your dad. You gonna send me out there? You know you crazy.
You know you're crazy. You know you're gonna kill me, right?
Oh, man. Hey, I remember this bitch. Remember that time I fought you? Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay, all right. And you can see why he didn't want to go down there. Because of that. Because last time he came with a shotgun. This time he used it.
Victorian time.
Like a cannon.
Yeah.
Laid his ass out. Still twitching. Couldn't help him. Laid his ass out. He's still twitching. Yeah, he was playing. Yeah, he's still.
You son of a
Yeah, that dude been shot for about 5 minutes. He's still down there twitching. In the shoe.
doing a worm.
Yeah. So here's where the origins come in. Hey, you probably saying, hey, what is the first moment a man actually discovered his claws? You know, with the jacket off was on. When is the first time that those things came out? What they looked like at the time?
I think it's that what he's jacking
on.
off.
The origin part right here kicking in. At least some of this. There's a lot of origin here. But we finally see the moment that triggered him to have his first claw erection.
Claw erection.
It's pretty hit puberty.
Yeah, hard. I got this funny feeling in my hands right now. And that's when we first realized the little ass is crazy. We first realized he's probably got anger issues.
Well, I was just like, this is a terrible shot right here.
It's a terrible shot.
Yeah.
The way it blows up,
Yeah.
the crane like that, and him squealing like that. There's no weight to that.
No, it's
It's just a little boy scream.
yeah, no, it is a terrible shot. But also, like I said, that's when you first realize you got. We're trying to do a lot of things at one time.
We're trying to do a lot of things in 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes, he got his claws. Oh, he got anger issues. I didn't build up. They were always inside of him. Even his brother, like, man, I shouldn't talk shit. Hey, man, that thing I said about you being sick earlier, man, hey, cop all you want to, man, we cool. And that's what his dad said. Yeah, you know what, maybe I could have called about that better.
There are things you don't understand.
Yeah, they understand these claws. I let them run. It would have been super easy to just put your hand out and go like, now slow down. Yeah, I'll cut you, man. And you run like a puppet or something. You run like a muppet. Yeah, like Frank Dawson. Like him, like they got his ass on wheels or something. You see me on a skateboard. I'm on a boat. Yeah, what's that shit with legs?
They still on the scene.
Little Logan, little Jimmy over here. Yeah, that's when we really do realize, man, maybe you calm your little ass down. You got some anger issue problem going on.
He wasn't your father.
Son.
Oops. Oh, shit. You can't tell me. You want to say that was coming at your ass? You trying to shoot me? Oh, yeah. You want to tell me about Freddy Krueger your ass over here? That's when he's having this big Empire Strikes Back reveal.
Son. Your father.
No.
No, don't change the subject. You want to explain this? You're a hoe.
You're a hoe.
There's more than one thing in this room.
She knows she been home, because he's like, bitch, you nasty. You want to Man, she gonna try to gaslight his ass. What am I? You are. I know.
I know what you are. No, bitch. You tell me.
I'm trying to put this on me.
Who are you, my dad?
Yeah.
When you right there, I come and you fucking like, bitch, I can't believe you, my mama.
Bet you want to explain this? What kind of Tyler Perry shit we can put on the movie where we also get a glimpse of some of the cheesiness of this film very early on, because we get into the dialogue. You know, we got this scene where it's movie dialogue where siblings always got to repeat what they are. Hey, we're brothers, and brothers look after each other, right, brother? Yeah. Talk to me, little brother. You know, so they can let you know what they are. All right, we know it, and it don't even really make sense right here.
These guys are brothers.
Yeah. Right. And so they gotta keep saying brother because that's what they do in Hollywood movies. And also, maybe it's just me, but it don't really make sense.
We're brothers, Jim. You realize that?
Well, yeah, we've been living with each other since I've been alive. We got the same mom.
Exactly.
I kind of figured that out on my own.
Also, I get the feeling you knew about all this.
Yeah, for real.
When last one to find this out?
And that's why you try to pull this shit.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, we gotta look out for each other now, right?
We're brothers, Jim. You realize that? Brothers protect each other.
Yeah, you want to tell me about this shit earlier?
Yeah, please, I was like, goddamn closet real quick.
That's why you lay that brother shit on.
Yeah.
Because he keeps saying brother. Hey, brother, we're good, brother, right? Hey, right, little brother?
We stick together no matter what. And take care of anyone who gets in the way. Can you do that, little brother?
Oh, I can do that. Because you know Daddy wouldn't shit, right? I ain't gonna blame him, man. He didn't take care of it.
Somebody said, hey, little brother, right, brother? Oh, hey, brother, what's this brother? Somebody said, old brother.
Yeah, I know, right?
Man, this dialogue is bad in some of these parts right here. I do like the opening credits. As I said, I would rather see a story being told about this, but I thought it was cool.
The opening credits might be the best part of this whole.
Oh yeah, no, I like the opening credits to tell the story of how the brothers
Not real though.
they don't age. It gives us, in a way, it tells about their mutant power. It tells about their relationship. It shows their history, and also it's using the opening credits, putting it to good use, and just instead of just showing names. They do this montage where they go from one war to another. Also shows their relationship. They often get each other's backs, literally. They got this special video game fighting moves on here. In some parts, it starts to get a little silly. Mainly with Vic, who's now played by Lee Schreiber, who again is later going to be Sabretooth. Sabretooth actually is sometimes a badass character in here, sometimes looks totally ridiculous.
It's going so well. And it gets to that, and you're like,
My man look like a dolphin.
Right.
He look like Free Willy over here. Where it's moving too fast. There's a part here where it starts to move a little too fast for me. I don't know how you feel about it, because this is what needs explanation, or this is what needs backstory, or some character building, because Vic just starts losing his goddamn mind. For no reason. It's like, I guess war is getting to him, or he just loves violence that much, or maybe it's his rage that goes with his mutant nature or instinct. But they don't really explain that.
Because next plus don't trip.
And then he gets so crazy that he's shooting the enemy and going crazy with them, getting his bloodlust killing them, but then he just goes so crazy when people try to tell him stop. They just start. He just starts killing his own. He starts killing his own people. So we've already established that these two cannot be killed. They're aging, they're probably taking all kind of injuries and whatnot. So when they're killing their own people, or at least when Sabretooth is killing his own people, killing American soldiers in Vietnam, they cannot be executed. So instead, they just put their ass in a pit and said, "Well, do something to figure it out."
Right.
And that's when
You tried it, right?
Yeah, they tried to.
He's like, that kind of took.
Yeah,
He was actually like, yeah,
that's what he
that
said.
was a badass line though.
So they just put their ass in a pit, and that's when you have one of the main villains coming in, Skyler.
That's Stryker.
The Stryker. I knew I was gonna say the wrong name. Stryker. It was actually played pretty well by Danny Houston.
Which whenever you see Danny Houston, not gonna be the good guy.
Most of the time, no.
I saw recently where he was the good guy and it threw me off.
For real.
They must have killed him. Before he
Your garage on Cars.com lets you try.
They on the overboard with long ass commercial.
So you'll be in the driver's seat for whatever's next.
I can understand 1 4 bit.
Two next.
But 3 of them?
Choices on Booking.com. There are so many
3?
Tina Feys I could be. So I hired body doubles.
Probably 4.
Or tree climbing Tina at a beach resort.
Nice. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
4 of them.
Did we just jump?
Bruh.
I was with a bunch of strangers. He's not a stranger. It's Lear King.
Having a great time. There's something right with this place.
I'm just really happy you came. Twice. Really hard. It's Jimmy Harper.
Huh? Oh, those donuts. Here. Pop these.
Fast Fizzy relief of occasional heartburn. Activates at first fizz. Wow. You love the seltzer fizzy nuts.
Turn bad. Danny Houston was like, well, I played a part.
Yeah, Stryker. Yeah, this is played by Danny Houston, who I thought actually did a pretty good job. But I like what they did to these two. They just said, "Get in there, just hang with the rest." and that's what they're doing. Is so I like it that Lee Schreiber Sabretooth hates humans, just goes crazy on humans, but just cool and chilling with the rats.
My name is Major William Stryker. You've been charged with killing a senior officer.
Well, Stryker has a deal with them. You know how it goes. Hey, I can get you out of here, but only if you agree to be part of this secret crack team of commandos that I'm putting together for all these secret missions out here. Now, you can stay in here with these rats and keep rotting on it. You can come and join me.
Join the A-team.
Join the A-team, right? Which ends up being the C and G team. Because part of the fun of watching an X-Men movie is watching mutants work as a team. And a lot of these movies, not all, a lot of these movies, that's the fun of any superhero movie out there, really, but especially an X-Men movie. But here, it gets kind of cool, not just the president, man.
Real. Yeah, like a wild walk past up here, but I remember that. I remember going, get happy this part, but
Real quick. Mainly because some of the team members, they're just goofy to start themselves.
Bridges went her last night. Love her after one night. She's a gymnast.
Oh, this is That's Kevin Durant.
that voice.
I know, I love his actor.
I love it too, but
And you can already see him playing Blob right here. I think they just...
Bridges went her last night. Love her after one night. She's a gymnast.
Oh, I thought they were going to show him because he got a mouthful of food right now because he's already eating. They foreshadowed him being the Blob because the big ass can't stop eating snacks. But I love the actor. The character's kind of cool. It gets even goofier as it goes along.
yeah, but I know that Rob's character, Fred Sutherland, is supposed to be, I know he's supposed to be Southern. God damn.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be Southern. I mean, I could barely understand what he's saying.
It's a funny ignorant gymnast. We also have in this movie, which some people I didn't hate it as much as some people out there, but I understand why it was taking their attention out of the movie.
Maybe not.
Oh shit, that Will I Am over here. Oh, Will I Ain't. Oh yeah, man. Will I Am. Listen, Will I Am in this movie. I actually like him in the movie, but the thing is, when you see him in the film,
Maybe not. What would be your approximation of knives? Would you like a bucket?
thing is, this is still at the time when the Black Eyed Peas were. I think this was about the time they had Fergie in there.
Yeah.
And so when you watch this, I like him in the movie, but you can't see nothing but a black eyed pea.
Dude, it's like Ed Sheeran showing up on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is way too distracting. But like, you've taken me completely out of this.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I hate this. I hate this person now. Get them out of here.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I don't want to see them again.
It's weird stunt casting.
Yeah.
It's just because he just maybe he got prep for it, you know, but he just popped out of nowhere.
I'm sorry, man.
Black eyed peas in the mix.
I know you say you like it. Acting is horrible.
Well, you know what? I found it to be up and down. Because there's some scenes where I was like, ugh. And there's some scenes where I was like, well, it's alright right there.
Yeah. The up part of this, which is not going to last very long, at least we kind of get a Deadpool here.
Yeah.
Kind of when he was Wade Wilson and kind of resembled the character of Deadpool.
None of this weapon than any other thing in the whole wide world you live in your life. No. It's memorable.
I would even say Wade Wilson's powers look slightly on the silly side.
Oh, you mean because he's a Jedi?
Yeah. I won't even say Jedi. This fool comes in looking like a baton twirling a parade. A beachy slice of, what do you call it? Hibachi slice of bullet right there. And yeah, I guess he has the power to slow down time and see reflections in his katana swords. I don't know.
He's just that good.
He's just that good. Since it's Fox, they're looking for that adamantium, and of course, Stryker is willing to kill for it. And this is why you had him, Will.i.am, and that's why you had him on the mission, because
Telling everyone here will die. This is how we can found the rock.
and I mean, like, that's the thing. Listen, they can't have all these white people coming here killing these black people and smiling about it and everything. That's why we had that one black person there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, shit, we had to have one to say, hey, see, he was doing it too.
That's what he did first.
He was here.
We can say everywhere too, right?
New Kraft Signature Shrinks. Amazing milk. Rich flavor.
Thank you, Chef.
Save up to 80% off Wayfair's Black Friday in July. Right now through July 29th.
Yes. Knock, knock. Hi there. I'd love to show you what a K-12 Howard School.
Yeah, so they go off on these black people up in here, man.
Think about it.
Like, bitch, I did.
Yeah.
Bitch, I
You
did.
not see how many people I killed in the opening credits? I live with this shit.
Yeah, I was like, what? Did you miss the first part?
Because we've been killing folks all through this. He's like, man,
It was under contract. You signed it right after that.
Not much happens for a while in the movie. There's a lot of stuff. It's kind of sublime.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got 6 years later.
Yeah, 6 years later, and you got Logan who's moved into a Bob Ross painting back here.
That's green screen.
Acrylic painting back here. Chopping up Rockies. Yeah, I'm sure there's some happy little trees in there somewhere. You know, he's kind of living a good life. Got himself a nice looking woman. Hard right now.
You know this,
Yeah, Rocky's down here too.
It's like, you know, like this. Yeah, it's about that time.
What time is that?
Wait, that's what time it is. Yeah.
Life is A-OK. Almost too okay. Sure
Yeah,
enough.
if shit don't happen, we don't have a movie.
We don't got a movie, man. We don't have a movie at all. If we let things be too peaceful, that would be very boring right there. So, it's too good to be true, as we know. Of course, the past comes back to hunt the old Logan right here. Stryker returns to warn Logan that somebody's out there. Hey, listen, man, you knew that this piece of wire was too good to be true. Because somebody is out there killing members of the old team.
I believe that someone is hunting down our old team.
This movie's full of twists. Turns out the one that's doing the killing is none other than Vic, aka Sabretooth.
That's why he's safe.
That's why, yeah, exactly. He comes up, yeah.
People are left to right.
Yeah, it started with this dude right here, this hobbit right here.
Dominic,
He was the easiest one.
He wasn't doing nothing to nobody. He's not a sorry existence.
Oh, he is
a carny.
The first time they all come to the beginning of the movie, he's like, come on, go here. I know you're pound or something.
It really was.
That's all.
Yeah, this man went for easy pickings first.
Afraid at night. How do you know?
Oh shit, I should say that. You know what I'm saying?
I just thought it was something cool to say.
Shit, you sound scared. Of course, Logan doesn't listen when Stryker's telling him, hey, somebody's coming after you, so trust me. And the thing is that Martin said, we need some tragedy. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a movie right here. So, Sabretooth's big ass sure enough shows up.
We'll pay for that. Yeah, she could just drive. Right.
Yeah, so slow down.
Just turn into some shit, get it. And he does pretty much what we predicted he would do. Kills the girlfriend.
Yeah, that shot again.
And that's our second Darth Vader no shot. That's what we've been doing this whole life, man.
It's a dumb shot, but there is a distinct difference with the gravity of it. That kid just looked like somebody broke his Legos. And he's having a temper tantrum.
He probably does that every time something happens.
Yeah.
He gets a peanut butter sandwich and then put the right jelly on it.
I said medium rare.
So this leads to a fight. Naturally, Logan is very upset. Leads to this big, sloppily edited fight together. And way too many cuts. Wow! That's one of them taking 3
That's
minutes.
like a good bit of the movie.
That was,
Or am I tripping?
wow. People, that's 2 seconds. We got about 50 cuts in there. He's dizzy just with the cut. Yeah, he's like, what's happening?
He's like, I don't know, did I throw you? I don't know what happened. Who's winning?
Where am I?
Yeah, I mean,
He's about to Jesus. He's like, God damn, who am I? Is this Kansas?
tornado.
Like Kansas now.
Kind of did make me dizzy a little bit. Those cuts.
And in the middle of the fight, you know how it is. Get you a cat fight with somebody. Girls get to with them long nails. Fight. You know, a nail or two can sometimes get broken.
Sure you are.
That was mean.
And I don't know. Now I got a question: is Sabretooth just that powerful? Or those nails? Could they have been broken that way at any time? I mean, he's had those nails for a long time.
He has had them for a long time, and then if they're gonna actually cut through things, they gotta be thick and not give.
Yeah,
But they both have super strength.
Yeah, so maybe.
Normally, Chipmunk is just bone at this point. It's not adamantine.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
doesn't have that reinforced skeleton.
There you go. So I get
I
it.
guess it's, I don't know why it hurt, but because he had
Right.
this. That shit.
It was like, like cats and dogs.
You feel it through your bones.
Yeah.
Your bones.
Maybe there's a little bit of nerves in there. I don't know. There's no logic here to be had.
Yeah, because if that hurt, then it would hurt every time he stabbed into
That's what
somebody
I'm
or
thinking.
something.
That's what I'm asking. So I don't know. Oh, so my man, you gotta find a salon to get the nail did again. That's when your boy Stryker comes back and says, hey man, first of all, I tried to tell you this, but don't worry, I got you. I got something that might be able to help you out.
I promise you 2 things. You'll suffer more pain than any other man can endure. But you will have your revenge.
Okay. I'm sorry. What was that first one?
Yeah. How was that gonna? What?
See, he answered because he was mad at the moment. He didn't really hear that first part, and plus he had a whole speech ready.
I come with you. I'm coming for blood. No code of conduct. You point me in the right direction, you get the hell out of my way.
So he was so mad he missed the pain part. Just signed up anyway. Oh, okay.
I mean, honestly, considering how complex and involved the process is, I don't see how he agreed to it so quickly and continued to keep going with it.
Yeah, right on the spot.
Because they've been like, oh yeah, I want to do this, and then after a while, I've been like, yeah, man, I don't know. This is more than I wanted. You know what? I ain't as mad as I thought I was.
Well, I'll tell you why that didn't happen. Because my man Stryker had to give some exposition, and he couldn't give it while the audience wasn't there, so he decided to tell him everything right before the process. Like, this is shit you explained in the consultation.
Yeah, the consultation.
But this is people. This is where we finally get the true origin of Wolverine, and it should have been the most exciting part of the movie because oh my God, we're getting Wolverine, but it ends up being one of the silliest parts of the movie, and this is one of them. Like this is the part. You heard the part where he said he got you got some pain and everything. Everything we're about to hear right here should have been sitting in the office, giving him a brochure, a pamphlet, giving him the consultation, saying, hey, think about this for 25 minutes. You want to do this.
Let us walk you through the process.
But no, he's telling him some shit that should have been told 2 weeks ago, right when he's laying on the operation table.
Remember what we were looking for in Africa? We will be able to withstand virtually anything. It's called adamant.
So why don't you tell me this shit last week? This is all of this because they keep going too. Like they don't. And like I said, my man, he did not listen to part when he said pain.
I'm sorry, more pain than anyone has ever endured.
Anyone. Oh, man, this is a silly ass procedure.
Yeah.
Smell. Wolverine.
You got it. Like he ran across the street. He making kiosk. Yeah, he went over to the PetSmart, one of the kiosks. Had that shit made and came right back across the street.
All right. Yeah, because it's like, I got your dog tags. I want new ones. Huh. I mean, we could do that later, I guess.
I want them now.
I want them now.
Yeah.
All right, well, okay, I'll get some at Logan Trail.
All right, well, let me run to Home Depot across the street.
I was like, I'm already scrubbed in. Are we going to do this?
You said, let me go to PetSmart, get some actual dog tags, man. I'll be right back. And he came back, and 30 minutes later and said, hey, I got it. And by the way, I don't know if this is a proper procedure or this is sanitary, but go ahead and put them on after the operation. I don't even know how he got that shit on with all this stuff he's hooked up to.
Right.
There is so much cheesy ass Wolverine foreshadowing in here. Is that right there with the dog tags, and then his girl told his ass this long ass. You remember that story?
Yes, this long, boring story about the gods and the Wolverine howling at the moon. And it was like, Wolverines don't howl at the moon. They're not canines.
She told this long, boring ass story just to say the word.
Kuikumatsu.
Oh, yeah, this shit.
He's like, man, I'm just trying to get some more.
I know I have to listen to her, so we can have sex after that.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I love this story.
That's weird. Live out in the Rockies. There ain't much to say.
I'm telling you, you get up from stores, you forget about that ass. You gotta be engaged and look interested.
All right, I laugh at the right spot. I'll listen.
Kuikumatsu. Means the Wolverine.
There you go. He's like, I don't get it.
That look too good. I don't get it, but I'm so smile.
You'll get naked.
All right. You done?
I think I've heard it.
Story time for that shit. All right,
That's what I just said.
Yeah, then somebody said, yay, she said it. Boy, there's so much Wolverine foreshadowing here. The dog tags, the story. And see, my man is not very subtle, saber-tooth. You let him know by cutting up a Wolverine head, like some Godfather shit.
Yeah, how long it took me to find it. Hard to catch too.
Yeah. You don't see that out there, so it might have been like, what the hell is that?
It's a honey badger.
Domino's, you can get more than just amazing, delicious pizza. There's also lava cakes, bread bites, and more.
Alka-Seltzer Fizzy Nuts. Fast fizzy relief from occasional heartburn. Wow, no water needed.
With so many choices on Booking.com, there are so many Tina Feys I could be. So I had.
They got a Wolverines, and this is part of the one that's part of
Just in case you don't get the point, I'm gonna kill you.
You love being done, man. You get it?
I didn't know what that thing was.
My name Wolverine is a... Oh, man. He said, oh, that was a Wolverine? I didn't know.
I thought it took me a week to catch that. I thought it was a raccoon. He missed that part, but they said pain, and so while he's down there, they tried to remind him. They said, "Listen, to reiterate, the process is going to be painful. It even sounds painful."
You're about to begin bonding and imagine two weapon exoskeletons.
Oh, yeah, you see it? That was the closest thing. Somebody might play. I'm sorry, Logan, I can't hear you. What you say? Go ahead. That's not me. Like, I'm turning this hot down a little bit.
Trust me, I've been through worse.
No, you haven't.
Wait, hold on, what? It's too late to bail on this. And so,
Too late to bail on it.
I should talk about this.
Man, everybody is telling me they must be bullshit.
I thought crack was bullshit, but that nice lady, she said it.
She's like, look, no, it's gonna be bad. I'm 50 worse. No, you got that. That's what we got.
Yeah. So, how did it go?
It hurts.
Yeah, it's a good thing I got these cheesy montages and another Wolverine reference to get me through. I got a goddamn ghost. I don't think you would listen to the first I was actually tensed up because it looked like it was painful until I actually saw the process and how it was going. So you can see that they have the adamantium, I guess in liquid form, is heated up so much that it's hot. That's why it burns him so much. But as you can see, he's being injected into some of his bones. So sticking needles into your skull and arm bones, it turns all your bones into metal. I guess all of it connects.
Yeah, because it should be all through him.
But it looks like if you look at the way it is, let me see here. Because I don't think, because we talking about how, like, it has to be connected to everything. Like, it only connected to a few bones. Like, it don't connect, it's not like that song, neck bone connected to the...
I mean, I get the impression like it goes in and it spreads.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. But you see this at the bottom too, right?
Yeah.
But then it would have to get through, like, you know, muscle tissue and all this kind of stuff. I'm probably questioning too much, but it just seems like
you pull a Billy right now.
Yeah, it just seems like an oversimplified. Yeah. But here, you just put it in one spot. It just kind of spreads to everywhere. And it cools off immediately.
Right. Once it cools, it never be melts down.
Exactly. But not only does it just spread, you know, a little too simply, but I love the way that it forms your claws, your broken claws, into perfectly smooth, chiseled, sharp Ginsu knives. You know.
Yeah, because we saw the claws before. There's always they had segments.
Yeah.
And I can see, okay, they were broken, but he heals fast, and maybe those healed back where they were.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But how those are like formed knives.
Polished.
Yeah, polished.
Perfectly formed, sharpened
That
knives.
are
Right
sharpened. Yes.
That's crazy.
You know how it is.
Yeah. Now he's loose. And this was funny to me because his ass got out there and his naked ass just kept running. He ran from out that facility, from out them hills, ran to the countryside.
Oh, man.
He pulled some Forrest Gump shit when he kept running.
I mean, look, to his credit, wouldn't you?
Hell yeah,
all this shit.
that fool kept running.
Never stopped.
I just love that they had no security preparedness at all. That fool was gone. It's like he left 3 Mile Island is where they got this. That fool left an island, y'all. Left an island and he must have ran on water.
Wishing he had his robe.
That fool kept going, and he's discovered by that old cliche, old people. And it's funny because they can't.
Farmhouse.
Listen, I'm telling you, he ran. This is an island that they were on. His ass ran off that island, ran on water, and ran to the old country town lemonade countryside.
At Two Men and a Truck, we'll treat you and your belongings like we treat our own grandmas.
Here we go!
Whether we're moving you across town or even across the country.
I do not miss my moving job.
There was a long line at the top.
I worked there all my sons.
NASDAQ 100 innovators, one ETF. Before investing carefully, read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more. Prospectus at investor.com.
Emergency crystals pop and fizz when you throw them back. And who doesn't want a good throwback? Emergency crystals.
I found the one. Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Gel Cleanser. Gently remove dirt, oil, and makeup and instantly hydrate. Get yours today.
And she like, God damn, I ain't had no ass like that long. Everyone excuse me for interrupting the show, but I do have to come in and get a word out to our sponsor. You don't want to hear this because personal data and information is being leaked all the time on the internet. I'll have to tell you about that. We just had something big happen in the news the other day, and it seemed. Thank you, and back to the show. But what I love about this is that those old people had all the badass things to make him cool. Right. You know, they had all. It's almost like they were waiting on him to get there because they had.
It's like a video game.
Yeah. Because they probably didn't like their son because they just giving all his shit away. Now, this used to be his jacket. Yeah, that'd be like the jacket.
This was my son's jacket.
You a shit taker. Yeah, like those. Yeah, you look just like that asshole.
That's one of those. I needed the clothes on. He's my son's clothes. By the way, he was a 6'4" model. Yeah. He worked that 23 times a day. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that shit is tailored up. By the way, are you our son?
And you know, we probably even have no son. He probably just want.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah. Had this motorcycle, ready, just old dude, just happened to have a badass motorcycle from back in the day.
I take it back for a spin. Test the suspension.
I like the way the movies it said, well, these old people, we gotta keep things moving. They ain't got no time for sentimental things and being nice. Yeah, we gotta keep things moving along. So I like the way these old people movie said, well, you served your purpose, and so. Yeah, man! Yeah. Hey, look, we ain't got time for all these goodbyes and shit, alright?
It does kind of set up a thing that's prevalent throughout the Wolverine movies. It's like, hey, if you do something nice for him and get to know him, you're gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot show him kindness unless you just ready to die.
And he can't protect you.
Yeah, exactly.
His face like, God damn it, how many times is this gonna happen? Shit.
I like the way Wolverine. He's like, well, I guess you're not gonna need this motorcycle no more.
Dude, like, a motorcycle,
Come and get me. This was a turning point in the movie for me. Everything up to this point was like, all right, some's kind of good and some is not, but it's within the realm.
Sure.
Here's where it just got ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And it just kept going.
Oh, and don't worry, the people that in person, that was Zero that shot those old people. But I don't worry about that. He gets his. Yeah, he gets his. Yeah, he gets his mainly because he can't shut them up. Like Wolverine was about to walk away. Like, you know what? You know you did a bad thing. I'm not a murderer like you. But this man keep talking shit.
It's funny how good innocent people tend to die around you.
See, I'm gonna keep walking, but you have to say something.
Oh, what you gonna do with that? Oh, shit!
Yeah. I do like that they attempt to show some of the favorite mutants right here, even though it gets ridiculous. Like with your boy Blob.
They stopped to have a Saturday morning cartoon break.
They really did. But this is, now you keep in mind that this man has just seen his girl die. He's seen innocent people die. And you know what, that's alright. I'm a funny looking guy like you, Blob. Let's go ahead and just do a little comedy.
It's like a
comedy
side
show right
It's
now.
a side mission in a video game.
Yeah.
So like,
It's a comedy side mission.
Well, you know what I mean? You gotta go find yourself up.
Yeah.
Listen, I ain't believing this. You can tell me what Victor is. Come on, bro. For old times, huh?
Just call me Vlog.
Bitch, you heard me. You know what I said. And everything, man.
They get that set out of your ears.
What'd you say?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
And I mean, we talk about cartoonish and exaggerated everything. I mean, how big is that big gulp? That's a bucket of popcorn right there. What the hell is that? It really is cartoonish in this part. Because, you know, now that he's big and fat, it's called the Blob, they start doing physical gags like belly bumping people. You know, we're getting all the physical comedy right here.
Yeah.
This scene right here, only thing that's missing is birds.
Oh, yeah.
Little cooked turkeys going around the Blob's head. The movie's suffering from going all over the place about the different kind of tones.
Yeah.
And I like the way even Wolverine, he said, you know what, this shit is getting even too stupid for me. I've had enough. The classic mutants start to make their appearance. You have Cyclops, Scott was his name? Scott Summers comes in. Which is, it's almost one of those obligatory cameos because he's such a famous mutant. And the way they just rush him in here doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Summers, sit up and take off those glasses. Then you can wear them in detention after school while you write out this conjugation 100 times.
So is she a sub?
What you looking at, babe?
Cars on cars.com.
What's wrong with this one?
I just got promoted, so I'm looking for something more.
Ciao.
2 million cars for 2 million possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next?
Wow, next time. I heard you were bad.
She knew right in school because this ain't the first day he's worn those glasses.
Right. Now his first day at the school, right?
At the school, yeah. Because we all know what happens if he takes his glasses off. That's what happens.
Yeah.
He destroys the school, so that's not good writing right there for that character.
No. Yeah, you go like, well, he probably had a prescription for these. And You really gonna stop class to call out the one kid who's not disrupted anything?
Right. Exactly.
Just sitting there quietly.
Yeah.
Like you're right. He would have had a prescription for this.
Yeah.
That right there is pretty bad writing. That's why I mean to just put that in there. Pretty much just rushed him in there just so we have that cameo.
I know. They want to stick that in there and make you go, ooh.
Yeah.
But him being there doesn't make sense for other reasons.
And Will I Am as the teleport. His character just sucks because he knew he was gonna die because he's like that. He's like that Black Man of horror movie that they're like. Because Wolverine tells him, go watch out back. He's like, all right, I'll be right back. And so you know he wanted to drop his ass dead.
That's it.
Yeah, but
That's it. As soon as you get that curtain at the end, they roll his curtain down.
That's it.
Well, also to confront the main villain, be like, I ain't scared of you.
Yeah, yes.
No, at first when you go back and say, hey, yo, man, your brother outside tripping.
But now he tries to go out there and do it himself. And that's like, talk about, I'm going to kill you. First of all, only one person going to kill him, and that's going to be Wolverine if anybody does. You ain't gonna, your little ass going to come and say you do it. And all this, yeah. And your power is just, like, man, if you can die like this, then you just suck. You look like this.
Yeah. You're predictable.
Unpredictable.
So he couldn't teleport his spine.
I know.
All I hear is he was trying to teleport again. Couldn't do it. He had all the.
Yeah,
that's a rule too.
His damn CG spine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he can teleport those clothes, but he
can't teleport his spine.
His own spine.
What did y'all think about Gambit?
Ugh.
You not like
He's one of my favorite X-Men characters of all time. I'm like,
you didn't like him?
I hate.
I mean, look, I think it's a terrible portrayal of Gambit, but I was never a big Gambit fan, so I was like,
I was my favorite.
I get it.
Because for me, out of all the use that they had here, and the way that the kind of treatment they were given, I thought this scene is kind of fun for me. I like it.
It's fun. They gave Gambit some style. He's not really Gambit, but for a movie version of Gambit, whereas they so often don't get characters right at all, they got a little bit of something.
I'll give him that. I'll give him they get a little style, but like they left out the main component of Gambit, which is that he's Cajun.
They just gave a little bit of a southern accent.
Yeah, a little southern.
A touch.
I see what you mean.
To do it.
I guess I like within the movie.
Yes,
the movie's got so many bad spots in it. I thought that Gambit was actually pretty cool. I like Taylor Kitsch is just a charismatic character. I like the way he's introduced. I enjoyed watching him. I can understand people say he's not that character.
I honestly, like the way he comes on, I thought, all right, we can work with this. We got a starting point we can build into Gambit.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Are you ready to go? Do I have your word?
No.
Well, bring me the bow I have.
Y'all southern gentleman. Yeah, he's definitely Cajun. I'm just a nice southern gentleman.
The regular boy I am, bud.
My man impressed the hell out of Will I Am.
That's cool.
That's a bad delusion. That's cool. That's cool. I thought it was one of the better parts of the movie because it was just fun. I thought this, if you just look at not with the character, if you just look at some part of the movie where they got a good action scene, it's a lot of fun, a lot of silly things happen.
It's as fun and silly as it is, it's also it's taken away from the sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Because it's such a distraction that I lost the thread on what we were supposed to be trying to do.
Oh, I lost that a long time ago. I didn't have no urgency for this movie at all after a certain point, so I just took any kind of fun scene when I could. But I thought it had a good fight. I thought it had some good humor in it.
2 years I run in that hole and I never.
I did like that.
I'm so sick of your ass. As you said, it didn't take long. But it gets stupid. My man turned to a helicopter with his cane at one point. I don't know if you remember this.
I thought I was doing it. I was wondering. This monkey attitude
turned to a Gambit copter. That's some shit you do with an action figure.
Right. Man.
And this really, listen, I've been dropping the word cartoon a lot, but this scene right here really does look like something out of a cartoon because, you know what I'm talking about? When he's breaking the ladder and they speed up the camera a little bit.
Shit.
Yeah, take that. That doesn't make sense. No, it does not. It's already coming down. You ain't got to cut a piece by piece. But it look cool if I do it.
You're like something like the damn Three Stooges.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it does.
He looked like he was stop motion animated.
Yeah.
See that?
Oh, yeah, it's like that, like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Just windy.
So, not much to say about the climax going on here. You just get more exposition. Stryker has to explain finally why he has such a hard on for these mutants out here. Part of it is because he wants to take their powers. But there's another darker reason why he's doing this. The thing that gives him this drive.
You know about your son, though. He knows a mutant. We're too close to this. I'm shutting you down.
Like, you know better than talk that shit when nobody else is in the room.
Right.
You know, I told other people before I came here, man. This man killed an army general and got away with it, right? We don't know where he put the body.
But it's just like those old radio job. It's always like, I'm throwing the police tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what they got?
No,
What the hell you are? What the hell you are? We killing him. Oh, you know what the school blood thing?
You look like Wolverine when they put that
You know, he's like, I'm shutting you down. Okay, but let me just grab some real quick. I'm all all right,
he was
shit,
in
get out.
his speech.
Yeah.
He was okay, well, I guess you must have been a little more. You must do. He wants to take all these mutants, because that's what he's been doing. He's been kidnapping them. Unless Sabretooth killed him, and then he comes in with a syringe and he can suck something out of there, some juice or something.
Yeah.
But he's been kidnapping a bunch of mutants because he wants to take their powers. He's got some kind of process to do that. It's also a chance to show us just different kind of mutants.
Right.
But he wants to.
And they're Easter eggs.
Yeah,
Like,
keep
that's
that.
Toad. Oh, look, that's Toad.
Exactly.
Oh, that might be Quicksilver.
Exactly. So I think he's taking their powers so that he can create the ultimate mutant to kill mutants because his son was a mutant who killed his wife.
Well, Stryker hates mutants, right?
He's creating the ultimate mutant, I guess, to kill mutants.
That's right. I was shutting him down. He's like,
Yeah,
this shit don't make no sense.
you don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, well, like it didn't make sense to me.
You only had a finite amount of adamantium, and you put it all into one guy.
Yeah.
And you don't even have control of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing anymore.
You gotta listen to the rest of my thing. See, it's brilliant.
Also, this is probably one of the dumbest reveals right here. We also see how Wolverine, man, all those stories he listened to, all that time he had to sit back and just put up with this woman just to get some ass. He got played in more ways than one.
They gave me a shot of hydrochloride.
So she really wasn't dead. Listen to this explanation right here. So how did she play dead so convincingly?
They gave me a shot of hydrochloride. Reduces the heart rate slowly and kills the dry.
So they stopped her heart with this thing right here and then poured blood on her. So if you listen to her heart and all that kind of stuff, to see if she's dead. You didn't check for puncture wounds or.
You didn't see where the actual injury was. Also, he would have been like, well, wait a minute. I sat with your body and I watched it go to the morgue.
Yeah.
If your heart wasn't beating all that time, your brain would have been starved of oxygen. Whether you would have died. I don't care. I don't care what kind of formula you had.
Did he even go back for the body though?
Right.
Yeah. And most of all, I had to listen to that story.
Exactly. But either he didn't check for puncture wounds because I guess he was that mad. Or when he got his ass beat, he just didn't go back for the body. Or maybe he was ready to turn my ass. I don't know, you know?
Or he took off running like he always does.
Took off running, man.
Yeah,
but his ass hanging out.
Yeah, because he's mad.
Yeah, I guess. Somebody said he mounted her and then left her ass. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
That ain't right.
You see Tori some more times.
Like, I want them blaming me.
And this dude, I mean, I'm sure he would have turned it down, but he really was raped it away.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, this dude was straight up raped because it turns out, hey, I'm a mutant too, and I was forced to do this, but hey, that really wasn't real love that you were feeling. That wasn't really horniness that you were feeling. That was my power making you think that all that was happening.
You know that his sister has a diamond hard skin. She can influence people as long as she touches them. I don't understand tool in seduction.
Well, that puts control for your sister.
But also, he's fond of them. You're too much.
Maybe she even used her power.
She's like, I don't touch it.
He tries to walk away, but he is still sprubbing that ass.
Yeah, look at that. He's like, yeah.
Shit, I thought I hit that ass again. Was this spinach? Shit, he ain't never been that strong.
He's like, hey, I ain't really like you, bitch.
Shit, I can hit again, so ain't nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Get your ass out the way. Exactly. He whooped his ass on that pussy. Now, of course, the worst part of this movie, hands down, 100% in agreement, everybody. Worst part of this movie is, you know, the so-called Deadpool. What the made them think that anybody would want to see this shit right here? People been waiting for years. People been waiting for years to see that right there.
Right.
And instead they gave us this damn used condom right here.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And you know what? And the more badass that they try to make this, the funnier it gets. Using erections for each other. Yeah. But this is so alright. I don't even know.
I want to kill you so bad. I got a hard on.
I want to kill you so bad. And the fight starts out okay. I mean, nobody's happy about this. But if we were forced to give credit where credit is due, the fight starts out okay. You jack off right there.
That is a straight up jacking off face right there. Oh, look at that, y'all.
Hard sword. Don't kill him.
This is why Stryker was getting all these mutants, because the gimmick is he was just gonna make a trash punch.
Yeah, right.
What do they call that trash? The trash party? Jungle juice.
Yeah.
Jungle juice trash party punch. He was gonna pour every flavor into him.
Into one being.
Right. Yeah, into one guy. So this dude has the powers of every mutant that he kidnapped, and we saw that there were a lot of them. Even though they had about 20 mutants up in there, and he only uses about 3 of those powers.
Yeah, three or four. Also, with the way those optic blasts work, I don't think just holding up some adamantium
exactly
is enough to repel. Just stop it right there.
There are gaps.
Yeah,
there are shields.
Exactly.
Like, he says gaps. I'm not doing this.
No, it's stupid. None of this is dumb. All of this is dumb even for a comic book movie. And it just looks dumber the more he tries to use these powers. It's probably a good thing he only used about 3 or 4 of them, because they just look stupid after a while. the CG is so fake right here. A lot of people saying, Ryan Reynolds, you fought for this character. You want to play this character. People say you are this character. Why would you agree to play that version of that character, the one nobody wants to see in that movie? He has this is probably what you were saying. He probably has he does have a very good explanation for that. This is him on Sirius XM, and this guy asked him about that. He's just being straight up front about everything that's wrong with that movie and that character.
You know, that came along, and it was sort of like play Deadpool in this movie, or we'll get someone else to.
And I'll tell you, for a mutant, having every power of every mutant out there, they took his ass out easy. Teeth like that was easy.
Also, there's a question of why did Wolverine decide to climb to the top of that tower? Like, of all the places
he thought that Deadpool would reach him up there. Oh. That's what he said. He said, well, they can't get me up here. And he's like, whoa, yes, I can. Yeah, that's what he thought. That's in the movie. Like, yeah, I can't reach me up here. And he jumped his ass up there. He's like, oh, shit.
Yes, he says he can't reach up here.
Yeah, let's try and see if we get up here. He was like, okay. All right.
You're going to get up here?
Yeah.
really bad place to fight. I'm not gonna lie. It's a long shot.
And plus, it looks cool when you have somebody to hire. Like, they also have, I'm gonna tell you, they mentioned some other mutants that they look alright. So they're enough to make you think, like, man, I wonder what they could have done with this. This was actually a good movie, like Emma Frost with the diamond skin. Some things look kind of alright.
Everybody behind her is dead.
Yeah. Unless you were right behind her and shorter than she is.
The only thing more ridiculous than Deadpool, and there's a lot of the other things that we've seen, is these amnesia bullets that they got right here.
Adamantium bullets. Let's see if we get a few of these through his thick skull.
How do we know these things? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. That makes no logical sense. So I'm just gonna put a bullet in his brain, and all of a sudden he's gonna have amnesia, selective amnesia.
Yeah, how you gonna shoot even an adamantium bullet through his adamantium skull?
Well, whatever he did, it worked. You're like, worked?
Yeah. I was actually rewarded for a second.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what he did. It's been medically proven or something, because he did forget. There's some cold-blooded shit, too.
Do you know her?
And he talking about the girlfriend. Girlfriend ended up dying. And it's some cold shit because her cold, dead body's out there. He can't remember who he is, or who she is. So, since that's the case, he's like, well, shit, that's somebody else's problem. Right? He said, I gotta get out of here, but these laws get up there. He just leaves her body right there. Like, somebody clean this up.
Dude, is it? Can't remember all that. He like, she real. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
I can feel a weird feeling about this shit.
You could remember, you'd be like, yeah, I'm still leaving your ass here.
Oh, look who decided to show up after all this shit went down. Damn. Green screen over here. You can see the halo in here right here. Oh, y'all know that bald head.
All right, Scott. My name is Charles Xavier. The second.
I like the way he got a pothole on his eyes right there.
Scott can hear his thoughts. Everybody else is like, so is this old dude gonna say something?
Yeah, what the I got a tampon on his eyes right here.
Just to let you guys know, I could have handled all of this shit, but I decided to take my time getting here.
Yeah. It was just all one of the strange old man that just popped up out of nowhere. Sure, why not? And there you go, people. That
Strange old man.
just flew that out of nowhere. We already been fucked up by these other people, but this guy, he's alright. So yeah, people, there you go.
We got a copter. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah, so shit, whatever happened, we'll worry about it later.
Yeah, he could be a pedophile. I don't care.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
Yeah, we'll take our chances. There you go, folks. That is the roast right there. Well, you made it to the end of the video. That must mean you really like what we do. So if you do, check out these other videos just like this one. check out our YouTube channels, and subscribe to join our wonderful Toasty community. And as always, stay toasty.
Spoilers, 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 spoilers. Fuck it, I should have watched by now. Spoilers!
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Boss, and this is a breakdown of every Easter egg in detail you missed in Deadpool and Wolverine. The 2016 Deadpool film was the first Marvel movie I broke down on YouTube, and this year I made it my mission to rewatch all of the X-Men movies that I grew up with to learn everything I could about this film and everything that paved the road to it. And it was all for this moment, so that I could be the sharpest expert I could be as I break down Deadpool and Wolverine shot by shot, all the big cameos and references and inside jokes, but also just the really subtle details and super layered wordplay that make this movie special. Guys, we're so back, and we need to savor every little morsel. Let's fucking go! And by the way, I am wearing our Deadpool Wolverine-inspired face-off shirt, and grabbing one of these at nerdride.shop will be the best way to support New Rockstars. Okay, we open with an updated Marvel Studios title logo. Steve Rogers' hurled shield flies past Deadpool's head now as he turns back to camera. This is from the 2016 Deadpool film, right after Angel Dust punched Colossus past Deadpool in that final battle in the scrapyard. So not only does it look like Deadpool is like dodging Cap Shield, but just watching it go by his head, so impressed, setting up his salute to Steve Rogers, followed by getting Chris Evans' Johnny Storm killed in this movie. Ryan Reynolds is also leading this movie by sneaking in a Gina Carano hero moment as he is joining the Disney universe after Pepsi Company fires her from The Mandalorian, and she's now suing them. That's fun. The top of the A in the Marvel logo is now Carol, Monica, and Kamala from The Marvels, and as the word pulls away from us, the M now contains the shot of Deadpool beckoning Logan from the back of the Honda Odyssey in this movie. We also hear Deadpool humming along with Michael Giacchino's theme music as the red backdrop turns into the texture of Deadpool's suit, and Marvel and studios turn red and yellow to match this movie's title. Deadpool giggles. That logo music just gets you pumped. The opening scene shows Deadpool in the snowy forest of North Dakota near the Canadian border, Logan's gravesite from the 2017 Logan film. We broke down that movie here, and we recapped everything you need to know about Marvel's full history here in this video, but just to summarize, in that movie, Wolverine in the main Fox X-Men universe of Earth 10005, in a story set 5 years or so after what seemed to be the happy ending of X-Men Days of Future Past, struggled in a depressing near future.
I wonder why
the
that
X-Men
universe
were
showed
dead
up.
from one of Professor Xavier's psionic seizures, and mutants had been eradicated from toxins in the food supply. Logan had to escort his clone, X-23, Laura, played by the young Daphne Keane, from El Paso to the Canadian border to join a group of young mutant runaways, all bred from the DNA of past mutants like him. Logan has to fight an adult clone of himself called X-24, and he gets impaled on a tree branch where he finally bled out and died. The kids buried him at this gravesite, and Laura turned the cross to Mormon X. Hugh Jackman announced at that point that he was retiring playing the role, and audiences accepted this as a fitting farewell. Arguably the best of the X-Men franchise and one of the best superhero movies of all time. And when Ryan Reynolds announced this film in 2022, he and Hugh Jackman promised that they wouldn't touch the events of the 2017 Logan film, but here he says, "For a long time I wasn't sure if I'd ever be back with Disney Disney bought Fox. There was a whole boring rights issue, blah, 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 blah. But then it turned out they wanted me, the one guy who shouldn't even have his own movie, much less a franchise. And Marvel's so stupid. Deadpool is, of course, referring to Disney's buyout of Fox's film and TV properties in 2019. Originally, Marvel had sold the film rights for the X-Men and Fantastic Four, Daredevil and Elektra, and a few other characters to Fox in the late 90s, and that's why the Fox X-Men films and Deadpool occupied the separate cinematic universe than Kevin Feige's Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has been owned by Disney ever since 2009. Fox was worried after their failed 2015 Fantastic Four reboot and the declining popularity of the X-Men franchise after the departure of Hugh Jackman and issues with, like, Bryan Singer on 2016's X-Men Apocalypse film. In fact, many believe that Singer would have to be credited as a producer on any live-action X-Men film thereafter, and that still might be a case for a time, which is maybe why this is taking so long. So Rupert Murdoch really had to leverage the popularity of Deadpool and Disney's interest in archive TV content for the launch of Disney Plus to juice up the deal to $71.3 billion. Other than cameos by Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier in Multiverse of Madness, and Kelsey Grammer as Beast in Marvels, Deadpool and Wolverine is the first of these Fox properties to get its own film under the Marvel Studios banner, and it reunites Kevin Feige with Hugh Jackman, who met on a set of the first Fox X-Men film, where Feige got his start as an associate producer. So Deadpool continues. Look, we know the title of this thing, so I bet you're wondering, how are we going to do this without dishonoring Logan's memory? I'll tell you how. We're not. And we are back to the same grave, as Deadpool literally digs up Logan's corpse. Of course he does this. The final scenes in Logan near the Canadian border were actually filmed at the remote Corkins Lodge in northern New Mexico near Chama. It looks like they recreated these woods, maybe on a backlot set, and used VFX to recreate the same mountainous background, but they even included the same felled tree that Wolverine died on, and the Reaver truck that Richter overturned with an earthquake. We hear the Platters 1959 as Deadpool blinks toward past, and I like me heart mug that we find out later Deadpool got from that TVA clerk. Deadpool's shovel clanks on metal, or adamantium, and he angrily hacks away at the remains. But Deadpool calms down and sits beside Logan's adamantium-covered skeleton, leaning against the same tree where Logan was impaled while all other tissue has decayed. The adamantium has kept it all intact, like a liquid metal cast of an ant colony. It's kind of a cursed existence for these remains. Even in death, Logan could not escape the adamantium. So arguably, by dismantling the bones into these weapons, Deadpool is kind of scattering Wolverine and letting him rest. Arguably, Deadpool says, imagine the fun, the chaos, the residuals, and then he puppets Logan's skull. Good night, mate. There's nothing that will bring an end to life faster than a big old bag of marble cash. It recalls the opening words of the 2016 Deadpool movie when Deadpool was seated on the overpass and invoked Hugh Jackman in a similar way.
It does rhyme with Wolverine. And let me tell you, he's got a nice pair of smooth criminals going to up.
TVA time doors open up and the lead agent calls out, Wade, Winston Wilson, you are under arrest for crimes against the Time Variance Authority. Yes, he uses his full name from the comics, including the middle name of Winston, which makes his initials WWW. The TVA uniforms in this movie have changed from the Hunter uniforms we saw in the Loki series. In the Loki series, the pants and shirts included Harlequin patterns of black and burnt orange. They never covered their faces with masks, and their armor was emblazoned with the TVA logo and their Hunter ID numbers, but there are no numbers on the Hunters in this movie, which is a clue that points to Paradox's division being off the books in the TVA, the kind of black ops that he personally oversees, where the cops hide their badge numbers and conceal their identities. Deadpool raises his hand from behind the tree, shouting, wait! A callback to him doing this from behind the SUV on the freeway in the 2016 movie, which led to the 12-bullet countdown sequence. This movie heightens that with Wolverine's bones, as Wade promises not to use any of his weapons, but then tells us there are 206 bones in the human body, 207 if I'm watching Gossip Girl. This is Ryan Reynolds shouting out his wife, Blake Lively, who starred in Gossip Girl, and cameos in this movie later on as Lady Deadpool. Deadpool tells Wolverine Skeleton, okay, Peanut, I guess we're getting a team up after all. Peanut is Deadpool's recurring nickname with Wolverine in this movie, and it's also what Scott Lang calls his daughter Cassie. The opening credits are set to NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye, and Deadpool even does the exact choreography from the music video. Each of the film credits are printed on one of Wolverine's adamantium bones, and one of these bones Deadpool uses as that 207th bone that he referred to, shoving it in a TVA agent's crotch and sliding his hand down it suggestively. One credit reads, produced by Kevin Feige and Lord Schuller Donner. Now, Feige got his start as an assistant to longtime Hollywood producer Lord Schuller Donner, wife to Superman director Richard Donner. After X-Men 2000, Feige left the Donner Company to work for Marvel full-time as a producer. So this isn't just a courtesy. Schuller Donner is a legacy producer credited on nearly all X-Men and Wolverine movies because she was that crucial to the character of Wolverine into the franchise. And I just like that this movie brought Feige and Schuller Donner back together in the credits. But but the red blood on the white snow is just such a contrast to anything we've seen in the MCU before. And I think Sean Levy might have decided to make it snowing in the scene so that the blood would show up more vibrantly.
Zyrtec algae relief works fast and lasts a full 24 hours, so you can seize the day.
That same great taste you want. With 0 gram sugar and more gluten. Join over 1 million customers and planning to do nothing.
This is the new generation of car care.
Wolverine assembles Wolverine's claws on his forearms, which must have taken quite a bit of time to do. Like, I imagine he would have had to strap one part of it on and be like, oh god, shit, and go over and kill a few guys and then go back to strap another part of it on. But it would be so worth it for him to cosplay as Wolverine. Deadpool pauses here to take us back, and the camera rotates to his ass. This is a callback to the first edit away from the freeway sequence of the 2016 film, which pushed in on his butt, and the match cut to another butt earlier in Wade's life, which Reynolds and screenwriters called their ass to ass record for dream transition. The Safdie brothers actually did a similar transition in Uncut Gems, zooming into the precious stone in the opening scene, and then coming out through Adam Sandler's colon. By starting this film in the middle of the action and then flashing back to how we got there, Deadpool and Wolverine's first act used a similar structuring as the 2016 film, which opened on the freeway, and then flashed back to Wade's days as a mercenary before becoming Deadpool. Here, we rewind time using Cable's time travel wristwatch device from Deadpool 2, reviewing everything Deadpool did in the first 2 films. Just to recap, he was a mercenary who fell in love with Vanessa, he got cancer, he sought alternative treatments, which led him to Francis, aka Ajax, who scarred him, but left him with healing abilities. And then he hunted Francis down, he met Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, he fought Francis on the scrapyard helicarrier, and ended up killing him, despite what Colossus begged him not to do. Then in Deadpool 2, he lost Vanessa from assassins, he joined the X-Men, including Yukio, Negasonic Teenage Warhead's new girlfriend, and he helped save the young, abused mutant Russell from the time-traveling assassin Cable. And he formed an X-Force, and watched most of them die, and then joined forces with Cable to stop Russell from destroying his abusive orphanage, sacrificing himself but using Cable's time travel device to prevent his own death, and then in the post-credit sequence, continuing to use the device to save Vanessa, to save Peter and Shatterstar in the X-Force, to shoot Ryan Reynolds in the head before making Green Lantern, and then killing his alternate self as Weapon 11 in 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine. Those last few are what we rewind back through here as we arrive at March 14th, 2018, Universe 616 Sacred Timeline. It's Pi Day, but this would be right before the snap in the MCU timeline, which occurs in May 2018. The Avengers would still be spread out following the events of Civil War. So an Avengers compound generally would be Tony Stark and James Rhodes, Happy Hogan, Pepper Potts, but Steve Rogers, Natasha Romanoff, Sam Wilson would all be fugitives on the run. Bucky would still be in Wakanda. Wanda and Vision would be moving place to place throughout Europe, probably around this time in Edinburgh. Thor and Bruce Banner were off-world following the events of Thor Ragnarok. Clint was on his farm with his family in Missouri, and Scott Lang would be under house arrest in San Francisco, and this right now would be soon before the events of Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it makes sense that it would be a relative ghost town when Wade Wilson came to visit the compound in March 2018. But here, Jon Favreau cameos as a clean-shaven and de-aged Happy Hogan. This would be a few months after Happy moved out all of Tony's collections from Avengers Tower in Manhattan to the upstate New York compound, which we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming. And it's why this office, which I assume is Tony's office and not Happy's, is filled with Easter eggs. Here's everything I spotted on and around the desk. We see the cover of Forbes from Iron Man 3 featuring Pepper Potts, and the headline Pepper Potts stirs up Stark. The prototype Captain America's shield from Tony Stark's workshop that he used to prop up the machinery in Iron Man 2. Tony's silver-colored Mark II helmet before it was painted red and gold. A Chinese terracotta, which might be from the events of Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin, or who they thought was the Mandarin, but was actually Aldrich Killian. The swinging sticks disc ornament that drove Tony Stark crazy in Iron Man 2. Tony's original arc reactor, the one that proved Tony Stark as a part. This is years before this thing would be placed on his funeral wreath in Avengers Endgame. A golden-winged trophy statuette, and what looks like a Captain America trading card, perhaps the one that Nick Fury took from Agent Coulson's locker and smeared with his blood to motivate the Avengers in the 2012 Avengers film. And then elsewhere in the office, on the shelves and walls closer to the door, Tony's Mark V suitcase suit from Iron Man 2, the one that Happy slid to him in Monaco. A golden statue in the shape of a Mobius strip inverted. This is the shape that 5 years after this would inspire Tony Stark to unlock the secrets of time travel and give the Avengers a way to undo the snap in Endgame. And then this writing photo of Tony with, it's hard to see in here, but it's Peter Parker. This is a photo that they took as a cover story around the time of Civil War when Peter was holding the Stark Internship certificate upside down. We saw this photo in Endgame, and Tony was putting Ravagers behind Peter. Now Tom Holland is conveniently covered in this shot because this is a Disney Marvel film, and they would need special permission from Sony to feature Tom Holland as Peter Parker in any form in this movie. Now, in front of that picture, that's not an actual Iron Man helmet, it's an Iron Man 2 toy helmet from Hasbro. This is one of my favorite Easter eggs in the movie because this is the toy helmet that the kid was wearing at the Stark Expo in Iron Man 2. That kid from Queens that Kevin Feige later established to be a young Peter Parker, according to Tom Holland when Spider-Man Homecoming was coming out. So not only does this cement that connection in canon on screen, it tells us that Tony Stark always remembered that moment, that kid from the Stark Expo, and later internally made the connection himself and wanted to keep this toy to remember that moment. Also, we see a poster for the 1954 Stark Expo, which we saw Howard Stark promoting Walt Disney style and archive footage in Iron Man 2, and it was this City of Tomorrow that inspired Tony to invent a new element that he could use to power his new arc reactor. Wade nervously interviews for a position on the Avengers and apologizes to Happy Hogan for being caught masturbating in the lobby of Stark Tower, which he defines as when you take two Hulk hand toys and ravage the midsection. I found this line interesting for a number of reasons, because I've always theorized that since Spider-Man No Way Home established that there was no Oscorp in the MCU, that the spider that bit Peter Parker might have actually been irradiated by Bruce Banner's Gamma Lab that would have been in Avengers Tower, maybe left over after they moved upstate in 2015 after the events of Age of Ultron. And Peter, maybe he was just a kid who broke into this cool place to snoop around, and that would have been one of many security breaches that led to Happy moving everything upstate, and it's also how Wade could have been caught now. It's also funny to me that Wade calls it Stark Tower now, and that he beelined to that tower looking for the Avengers and didn't know that they moved. So Wade wants to be an Avenger to impress Vanessa because their relationship's on the rocks, which tells us that these relationship troubles were happening almost immediately after Wade brought her back to life using time travel in Deadpool 2. And while that seemed like an easy happy ending for them, it makes sense that Vanessa would still walk away from that close call pretty traumatized, especially to learn some alternate timeline where she actually died and consider Wade way too dangerous to be around. Wade asks if Happy was the chauffeur, and later asks if his superpower is parallel parking, reminding us of Happy's beginnings as Tony's driver in the earlier films, but starting in Iron Man 3 is when he became head of security. Wade mentions that he was originally
wrapping all the crab legs and lettuce.
About the 2016 film, and he mentions his team experience as a founder of the X-Force, who he said all perished due to what the police called gravity, but also that they didn't focus test well. We know that the members Peter and Shatterstar survived due to Wade's efforts for that post-credit sequence, but I like that he doesn't want to tell Happy that he used time travel to fix everything, and that originally he got them all killed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
But Happy points out that Wade wants to be an Avenger because he says he needs it, when really the Avengers do what they do because the world needs them. Which, ouch! He's basically saying, hey Deadpool, no one has ever needed you. This really gives us Wade's whole existential crisis in this movie. He is an outcast in the primetime MCU, but also misfit from his home reality, which makes him vulnerable to false promises to be the savior of the community that rejected him. But ultimately he decides to stay in Earth 10005, that universe that he started in, which is interesting. I also love that Jon Favreau returns for this movie because he originally played Foggy Nelson in the 2003 Daredevil film with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, which is later in this movie. And it was on that film where he met Kevin Feige, originally in the scene in Spider-Man No Way Home where Charlie Cox met Robert Pierce. They were going to ad-lib a reference to that history where Happy would have said he was trying to remember something, but that he was feeling, quote, a little foggy. So Deadpool returns to Universe 10005, which for years has been our numerical designation for the Fox Marvel Universe of the X-Men. This movie establishes that the worlds of the first two Deadpool films to be in that same Universe 10005, even though in the past there has been some thinking among fans that Deadpool 1 and 2 belong to a separate universe, Earth 41633. Now, the Deadpool movies are really supposed to be set in the present day, but they just had an unclear relationship with the rest of the Fox Marvel world of characters. Like Deadpool 2, the cast of X-Men from Dark Phoenix, movie that's supposed to be set in 1992, cameoed in the X-Mansion of the present day, and Deadpool's Colossus is different from the Colossus played by Daniel Cudmore in X2, X-Men The Last Stand, and in Days of Future Past. But clearly, in Ryan Reynolds' mind, Deadpool and these characters existed on the periphery of the X-Men history, which is kind of possible because the events of Days of Future Past altered Universe 10005's timeline so that we don't really know what happened in modern X-Men history after the events of X1 up until the happy ending depicted at the end of Days of Future Past, which would have been around 2024. So,
Old Spice Pie, I hold that finish.
Oof, gotta get rid of this.
Happy
try down, you rinse and refresh.
It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them 3 times better than detergent alone.
As the order went bye-bye.
Rinse odor away.
On a distant world, faced the enemy. All the while, you were thinking. Oh, there's more to imagine when you listen.
Thanks to this waterfront hotel on Booking.com, even Yankees fans are loving Boston.
Oh, no, we're keeping tabs on our rivals.
So many choices, you can be a fan of any U.S. city. Booking.com, Booking.yeah.
In 300 feet, turn left.
With Cox's fiber-powered internet, you can do brilliant things. Get gig speeds, powered by fiber, from Cox, the nation's fastest internet provider.
So, in this movie, I think we are somewhere in that revised 10005 universe, post Days of Future Past, also sometime around 2024. The year we are all in right now. The issue is, we are also supposed to be sometime after the events of Logan, if Wolverine is currently dead in 10005, as he's in this movie. And Logan, we know, was set in the year 2029. In fact, Ryan Reynolds knows this as well.
Logan takes place in 2029, a totally separate thing.
So I don't know, maybe it's just the way Paradox looks at 1005 is as a universe in which its anchor, Wolverine, will soon die, and eventually that would mean 1005 is just marked for demolition. It's just best not to think about the timeline stuff too much. Sorry about that. So Wade now works at Drive Max, and there is a suit-up montage parallel to the suit-up montage we see later in the TVA, but there it's red. Here it is blue. In Wade's locker is a book, The Canadian Mounted. That was the sexy romance novel that Deadpool really enjoyed reading in the 2016 film and was seen reading in Deadpool 2. This was a book that John Candy was reading in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Reynolds said that that film was a major inspiration for the funny comedy plot of this film. He staples a toupee to his head, test drives a Kia Carnival. The mom asks how it compares to the Honda Odyssey, and Honda must have paid for a product placement in this movie, but just must have been okay with Ryan Reynolds talking so much shit about the Odyssey the whole movie, but it does end up growing on him when it comes back later in the void. Rob Delaney returns as Peter, who keeps Wade's suit in his locker. Inside is a sticker with a magpie that might be a reference to the logo for Knox County, the football club that's a rival to Wrexham AFC, the club co-owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney and featured in their Welcome to Wrexham docuseries. Wade and Peter find back home on Wade Street, on the corner of Walker and Main. Now, Walker might be a nod to Walker Scobell, who co-starred with Ryan Reynolds in Sean Levy's previous film, The Adam Project. Wade is photographed by TVA agents disguised as construction workers and surveyors who must be setting up Paradox's Time Ripper in the TVA outpost in the subway station below. But this block will later be the showdown for the final battle between Wade and the Deadpool Corps. The station below, of course, is where Deadpool and Wolverine will have to stop the Time Ripper. It is cool when movies come full circle for their final acts. For example, the Work of the Day Hotel in the opening scene of The Matrix is the same hotel where Neo confronts Agent Smith in the final act. But I will say, in this movie, the street just kind of looks so much like a cost-saving studio backlot set that you might see on like a sitcom. In fact, when we all saw it in trailers, we just assumed this would be part of the void. That's how like goofy it looked. Like we all thought this would not be something meant to look like the real world. I will say this set just kind of always took me out of the movie a little bit. Wade walks into a surprise party with Peter, and Flying Dal is there, Vanessa, Dopinder, Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Yukio, Shatterstar, and Buck. And Buck was a mercenary from the Sister Margaret's bar.
According to the Kubler-Ross model, denial is just one of the 5 stages of grief.
Jesus Christ, Buck. We're speaking words for you.
And Wade actually calls back that line in this scene after he lists off a bunch of hot-button political issues and then says, no speaking lines about Flying Al wants cocaine. In Deadpool 1, Wade said that there was 116 kilos of cocaine hidden in the apartment somewhere right beside a cure for blindness. And then in Deadpool 2, a floorboard is lifted showing Wade's cocaine near a container marked cure for blindness. Wade says,
Cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
What about Bolivian marching?
Now you know all the slang terms, they have a list.
Even snowboarding?
Even disco dust.
White girl interrupted?
Even force bump.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yes!
Yes, Wade references one of Disney's biggest hits, Frozen. And in Deadpool 2, Wade observes how Do You Want to Build a Snowman has the same melody as Papa Hear Me from Mark Streisand, Gentle, Guest Reynolds, and Wade Wilson are team Broadway nerds. Wade learns that Vanessa is seeing someone new named Dermot who likes hiking. In the background, we hear Juice Newton's Angel of the Morning, the song that played over the opening shot of the 2016 film. On the walls of Wade and Al's apartment is print art that looks like Roy Lichtenstein prints. Roy Lichtenstein was a 1960s pop artist artist known for comic strip-inspired parody art, and one of these stills looks like his famous in the car painting, but it has been reversed with the woman driving, which is just kind of interesting because Deadpool's role in Marvel Comics is to use the medium of comic book cinema as a lens through which he parodies the genre and subverts it by reversing roles just like this. Wade stands over his cake and says that all the people he loves are in this room right now. Sorry, Weasel T.J. Miller was not invited back to this film. And he goes to make a wish. Now, this movie later references The Wizard of Oz, so I'm even more okay than usual drawing this comparison, but in my long-running theory that every American movie is trying to be either The Wizard of Oz or Citizen Kane, basically, is it trying to be a dream, or is it trying to be a puzzle? Deadpool Wolverine is totally trying to be Wizard of Oz, right? Like, the whole movie is Wade's wish fulfillment, and the knock at the door comes precisely when he makes a wish on his birthday candle, as his wish is to be a Marvel hero who matters to Avengers. He's transported to a magical dream world of this movie with fantastical weirdos and a little dog, too. And he's torn between these warring witch and wizard figures. And ultimately, Deadpool wakes up from the dream and learns to appreciate his home, as there is no place like it. With this movie, I think Ryan Reynolds might be recognizing that these characters haven't really needed Deadpool in their lives, at least in the past two films. Basically, all the time it's been people worn down by his resolve and his non-stop bits, so they end up just giving in to this needy clown who's dealing with this bullshit. And I think Ryan Reynolds is self-aware enough to know that he, as an actor and producer, shares those traits with himself. Like, it was he who willed this franchise into existence after his pride was stung from the negative reaction to his character in 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine. And rather than wait for the studio to build on that character as they definitely meant to do, or just walk away like a lot of other actors do from bad comic book movies, he was like, no, he found the writers of the best, bloodiest comedy of that year, Zombieland, to produce this new Deadpool script, and then leaked it, and then pressured Fox into paying for a test shoot, and then leaked that test footage too, all so that he could make this new comic-accurate Deadpool with him in complete creative control. And isn't that a kind of obsessive trait that Deadpool would do too? Was Ryan Reynolds really doing it for us, or was he doing it for himself? Yeah, with the success of the Deadpool movies, and now earning a spot in the MCU, I think Ryan Reynolds feels, well, I can't just parade him in the MCU, I have to make him a misfit toy who must first fight through the MCU's trash heap, like the Forgotten Toys in Toy Story 3, but to brave the furnace. So it may be a nothing detail, but his apartment's number is 17. And 17 is a recurring number in the MCU. 17 was one of the Winter Soldier activation words. 17A was a silo number in Avengers Campus that contained Tony Stark's Iron Spider armor in Infinity War, and in that same movie, T'Challa ordered to open Northwest Section 17. Really, the secret to 17 is that it is just a oddly specific prime number, and screenwriters use it because it's simultaneously a lot of something, but also not a ton of something. Here, 17 is just a sign that Wade and Al can only afford to live in a building with a lot of units in it. Wade thinks that the TVA are erotic dancers or sex workers, thinking their pruning sticks are sex toys.
Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Yes, pegging isn't new to Deadpool. Vanessa wore a strap-on for International Women's Day during the Calendar Girl montage of the first film. But Wade is brought to the TVA to meet Paradox, played by Matthew McFadden and Tom Wambsgans from Succession. Mr. Paradox comes from She-Hulk Volume 2 number 3 in 2005. He was one of the judges of the TVA, who was very quickly killed off when he was hit by a retro cannon. But like all the named characters in the TVA and the MCU, the live-action versions of them are more fully realized with like different motives. So just a reminder, if you didn't watch Loki, the TVA is the Time Variance Authority, responsible for monitoring all the timelines in the multiverse, and originally tasked with pruning branch timelines and the variants who create those branches down to the Void, which is a vast junkyard policed by a guard dog, purple smoke monster made of antimatter named Alioth. In the Loki series, we learned that the TVA was created by He Who Remains, a variant of the time-traveling villain Kang the Conqueror, and He Remains uses the TVA and Alioth to erase all possible branch timelines and histories that could lead to rival Kang variants that would result in a multiversal war breaking back out. In Season 2, the TVA's temporal loom gets overwhelmed, leading to the spaghettification of reality until Loki figures out a way to bypass the Remains equation by sacrificing himself, invisibly holding all strength of time in his hands, sitting alone at the nexus of eternity as a god of stories presiding over all existence alone. So now, with Loki in charge, the TVA no longer violently prunes branch timelines, but nurtures a flowering multiverse. But Paradox doesn't buy with the new marching orders. Paradox says that Wade's messing around with Cable's time travel device isn't why he's here, and he says, that snap sounded a lot like the snap from the Disney Plus animation. Paradox Phillips explains that Wade has been selected for some mysterious higher purpose to save the Sacred Timeline from a possible grisly fate sometime in the future. Paradox turns on the video screens, which show clips of Steve Rogers' Captain America from MCU past. We see him fighting Loki in Germany in 2012 Avengers, wielding Mjolnir in the Battle of Earth in Endgame, leading the Howling Commandos, bashing in through the door on that World War II mission against Hydra in the first Captain America film in 2011. We see Cap saluting from the past Captain America film, while on the right you can see the airport battle from Civil War with Wanda and Black Panther. Then we cut back out to Wade saluting back as we see Captain America fighting Batroc the Leaper in the opening fight scene in Captain America Winter Soldier. And then in the middle, that's the Avengers leaping to the right in their Hydra battle in Age of Ultron. And then on the far right, Cap in close-up when he was facing Bucky and the Winter Soldier final battle on the Project Insight helicarrier. But as the scene continues, there are more familiar shots, including various ones from the Endgame final battle, like Steve summoning lightning with Mjolnir while fighting Thanos, and T'Challa retracting his helmet to tell Hawkeye, "Clint, give it to me," remembering Clint's name from Civil War when initially T'Challa said he didn't care what his name was. And as Wade walks away, we see Tony's "I am Iron Man" moment from Avengers Endgame. Throughout all this, we are hearing Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme music as Paradox says that Wade can be a hero among heroes. A new image appears on screen showing Thor cradling Deadpool's body in a similar pose as Thor holding Loki when he thought Loki was dying on Svartalfheim High in 2013 Thor: The Dark World. And music shifts from the Avengers theme to an Asgardian melody. And Paradox says, let's not get ahead of ourselves, that happens in a distant future. And he makes a tag team image on the screen. So Deadpool's future with Thor is perhaps the biggest unanswered question coming out of this movie. Jessica Clemens is actually breaking this down in a video coming tomorrow. But Deadpool in this movie, from here forward, often wakes up from sleeping gasping, "Thor," or "God of Thunder," which I think could be a clue that Deadpool might be dreaming, aka peering into the life of a multiversal self. According to Doctor Strange, he said that's what all trains are in the Multiverse Madness film. And seeing a possible future that might pay off in Secret Wars. Like, I think the grisly fate in the Sacred Timeline that the higher power selected Wade for was God of Stories Loki recognizing that Deadpool has a role to play in Secret Wars or in an Avengers vs. X-Men conflict. Maybe both him and Wolverine needing to bridge the peace in a future incursion between 10005 and 616 that may end with Deadpool making a sacrifice play in a way that makes Thor grateful because it allowed Thor to see his brother again and make good on Loki's promise to his brother in Infinity War.
I assure you, brother, the sun will shine on us again.
Febreze. I use Febreze fabric refresher every day to make my home smell amazing. On my bed, my couch, my jacket or jeans, in between washes, even shoes. Febreze doesn't cover hot odors with scent, but fights them and freshens. Over 1,000 uses. Febreze fabric refresher.
Old Spice told body. It fights stink 24/7.
Uber Eats is worth over $10 million in free Domino's pizza. Oh, you mean 10 million? That's a lot of pennies. Order Domino's now through Uber Eats to claim your free pizza.
Says the power in the Marvel Universe is about to change forever.
And you don't even get a Lego Deadpool, but you get a Lego Wolverine.
There's the hierarchy of power in the DC universe.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Because he was saying that about Black Adam, that it was going to be so game-changing just because it brought back Henry Cavill for a cameo as Superman in the post-credit scene. And he even spoiled that in the marketing. And still the movie underperformed, but Johnson remains in denial about it underperforming. And poor Henry Cavill would soon after be recast anyway, so this never happened. But Deadpool does give Henry Cavill's redemption in this movie. Deadpool says, "I am Marvel Jesus." Notice how he uses the same pace as Tony Stark when he made his big move in Avengers Endgame. Wade headbutts the camera, breaking the glass, literally cracking the fourth wall, and says, "Suck it, Fox, I'm going to Disneyland." And actually, Deadpool is now meetable at Disneyland's Avengers campus. Deadpool gets a new suit from the TVA tailor with adamantium katanas. And once again, the grip of the base of the blade, there's little Deadpool eyes on either side of the sword, so that when he stabs you through the face, a second set of little eyes will be the last thing you would see. The butts of the grips used to read B and Arthur. Deadpool named his swords after his favorite Golden Girl, but now they read DR, and I think SB, which could be for Dorothy, Rose, Sophia, and Blanche, all 4 Golden Girls. Also, as the where the muzzle of his gun is etched with the words "Smile, wait for the flash." And in a throwback to the gratuitous suit-up montages of movies like Batman and Robin, we get a lot of close-ups of Deadpool's crotch and his butt as the tailor's white gloved hand just continues to spank and use them way too much. So Deadpool shows off his new suit with the TVA.
You look very nice.
Nice? Your buddy here's ready to throw it all away from me. Calling your wife? HR. Does your wife work in HR?
This TVA agent is played by James Dryden, and he was the one with the "I love me" heart mug. But Paradox explains that Wade will not be able to take any of his friends with him, showing him his dying timeline. Using a similar interface that we saw in the Loki series, we see the line "decaying." Paradox says this happens when a universe loses its anchor being, saying, quote, "An anchor being is an entity of such vital importance that when they die, their whole world slowly withers out of existence." This concept of an anchor being comes from Jonathan Hickman's Time Runs Out storyline, which leads to the 2015 Secret Wars crossover event. Bowman Reese, aka Molecule Man, we learn was installed in every universe by the Beyonders as an experimental ticking time bomb to trigger the death of that universe. But Dr. Doom ends up interfering with that plan. But this idea of an anchor being is more of an organic, natural phenomenon. Like just every universe that spawns into existence just has one all-important anchor being. Thousands of years after that anchor dies, that universe just starts to spaghettify. One wonders what the anchor of the MCU was. Could it have been Tony Stark or Steve Rogers, our mother, Wanda Maximoff? Practically, Tony Stark probably makes the most sense, and Marvel Studios wants to keep building on this idea as they seek to bring back Robert Downey Jr. in Secret Wars. Paradox says that the anchor of 10005, Deadpool's universe, and the universe of the Fox X-Men was James Hallett's Logan Wolverine, and he pulls up Logan's death from the end of the 2017 Logan film, and all the TVA texts watch it as if it's their favorite movie. In fact, when Logan says his dying words of "So this is what it feels like," Paradox mouths along, probably longing for his own death. Paradox says that he's tasked with just overseeing the eventual death of Universe 1005, but that he doesn't want to wait for it to happen naturally. He says, "We used to just prune these things. Simple, elegant, efficient. I'm told the TVA doesn't want to do that anymore. Well, I do, and no matter what my superiors say, the multiverse does not need a babysitter. We need a mercy killer." And during this line, there is an insert close-up of Batman Batty on what looks like a positive background, making me think that he might have added this extra line about the TVA's nude policy late into production after Loki Season 2 came out, because both Loki Season 2 and Deadpool Wolverine script were really just being written at the same time. But the babysitter that Paradox is referring to would be B-15, but she is carrying out the will of God of Stories, Loki. So we don't know if Paradox knows that Loki has taken over the organization, or if he's just seeing the TVA from the perspective of middle management, and he just got a memo that said his job changed. But Paradox's resistance tells us how dangerous the TVA really is. It has internal divisions and factions that resist change, and covertly are able to use parts of it for their own agendas. Paradox unveils his mercy-killing machine, the Time Ripper, saying once completed it will allow me to destroy the space-time matrix of your universe. Later, when we see the Time Ripper in action, its inside thing look like it's composed, or at least powered by, dozens of reset charge canisters from the Loki series. And remember, each one of those could prune a single branch of the timeline before that branch crossed the threshold at least. So it makes sense that it would take dozens of these, powered by columns of matter and antimatter underneath, to completely spaghettify an entire trunk of the reality. Deadpool headbutts Paradox and leaps to grab his tempad, planning to find a Wolverine who can fill that anchor spot. And he nearly sits on the face of that TVA tech, but instead he just opens a time river and takes the guy's mug. But there's something I gotta talk about here. Editors are really the hidden superstars of every YouTube channel, but particularly on New Rockstars, we would not be able to do anything without our editors. And on every video we make here at New Rock, you like Adobe Premiere Pro. You can get Premiere Pro as a standalone app or included with the Creative Cloud app, whatever works best for you. Just click the link in the description to get started with Adobe today. Deadpool reminds us back to the opening scene in North Dakota. This week, Hunter says that he's the worst thing to come out of Canada, which is fun. He's going to break by the Canadian border here, and Deadpool uses that to break his rule not to use weapons in this awesome bounce shot to kill him. Deadpool now goes on a montage, says that Huey Lewis in the news is the power of love, searching the multiverse for a new living Wolverine. This is a song that played in Back to the Future for shots of Marty entering the Hill Valley town square, so it's kind of a good time travel montage song. Deadpool arrives in this bar with axe throwing, and he meets a Wolverine of comic accurate height, 5'3". Hugh Jackman has been shrunken with VFX. Wolverine was given this height in the comics to better reflect the stocky Wolverine-like statue as in Wolverine the animal, and it's always been an issue since they cast the towering 6'2" Hugh Jackman to play the part. Next, we see Deadpool in this fiery alley with French post-apocalyptic graffiti. The Wolverine here is the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, who uses the alias Weapon X. This is from Earth 295, when Apocalypse has taken over North America and
I wonder which one that was.
of Apocalypse Wolverine, who uses the alias Weapon X. This is from Earth 295, when Apocalypse has taken over North America and decimated the rest of the planet. Check.
With Cascade Platinum Plus, I have upped my dish game.
In that dishwasher.
Watch me.
Platinum Plus gives you the highest standard of clean, even in your machine.
Clean enough for you?
Yeah.
Scrape, load, done. Cascade Platinum Plus.
Benadryl. Allergies? Bug bites? Bring it.
Please find some lucky teacher. Yeah, I already know the answer to that one, man.
We're about to see if these two multiverse friends can stand up to this.
That's it. Yes, come on. Let's go. You got this. Looks like Degree Ultra Clear can take the heat. There's nothing from Degree that fights sweat better than Gillette Clinical.
Everyone here has the same sleeveless black leather suit with the red stripes, the tangled hair, and this metal stump on one arm, though we don't see it here, is capable of releasing 3 claws as well. Next, Deadpool finds in a casino, Patch. This is Wolverine's alter ego from the 80s who gambles and wears an eye patch, dresses like James Bond. This is an alias used by Wolverine since that time, but recently in 2022 there was a solo run written by Larry Hama that follows Wolverine on a recon mission to Madripoor in the Princess Bar. Deadpool walks up to a home. Here is capable of releasing America and decimating the rest of the planet. Jackman here has the same sleeveless black leather suit with the red stripes, the tangled hair, and this metal stump on one arm, though we don't see it here, is capable of releasing 3 claws as well. Next, Deadpool finds in a casino, Patch. This is Wolverine's alter ego from the 80s who gambles and wears an eye patch, dresses like James Bond. This is an alias used by Wolverine since that time, but recently in 2022 there was a solo run written by Larry Hama that follows Wolverine on a recon mission to Madripoor at the Princess Bar. Deadpool walks up to a homesteader Wolverine who's old and grizzled, kind of like Clint Eastwood. Now, I don't think this is Old Man Logan, but it's Old Man Logan has bushier button shots, and it's in like a post-apocalyptic future. This looks like it's in the olden days. And he blows Deadpool away with a shotgun, and then Deadpool lands in this horrifying field of red skulls to find Wolverine being crucified on a giant yellow X. This is from Chris Claremont's Uncanny X-Men number 251, when Wolverine is being tortured by the Reavers, which was actually the name of the mercenaries from the Logan film, but those were different than how they are in these comics. This giant yellow X will also return as a visual when we arrive at the point later. Next, Deadpool finds a classic John Byrne brown and tan suit on a Wolverine, which was the original rendering of how Wolverine looked in the Marvel Comics. And Deadpool asks, didn't you find a Hulk in this outfit? And then Wolverine sticks his claws, and Hulk roars in the reflection of adamantium. This is a recreation of the cover of Todd McFarlane's The Incredible Hulk number 340. Hulk, and it looks like the Mark Ruffalo version and not the Edward Norton version, punches Deadpool into the roots of a tree. And lastly, the muscular total package Wolverine smoking a cigar over a motorcycle is revealed to be Henry Cavill. Deadpool says that cavalry has arrived, and he says, we will treat you so much better than those down the street. Of course, referring to the band support of Henry Cavill over the way Warner Brothers brought to an end the Zack Snyder era of the DC films, specifically with Henry Cavill, who turned down other projects to come back to play Superman just for the studio to be like, you know what, we're going to reboot the entire DC slate. To be clear, I don't blame James Gunn for that. I don't blame Zack Snyder for that. I just blame the studio for taking so damn long to make up their minds on what they were going to do with this IP. But I do think, or at least I hope, that Henry Cavill made quite a bit of money from just the studio having renewed his contract. Finally, Deadpool arrives to this Canadian bar where he finds a very, very drunk Wolverine. The shot of Wolverine from behind evokes the shot of Wolverine from the trailer for Insomniac's PS5 game. The bartender is played by Greg Hemphill, a Scottish comedian from shows like Still Game. He tries to get Wolverine to leave because, as we'll learn later, this Wolverine turned humanity against the X-Men. After his X-Men got killed, he just continued to wage war on humanity, both bad humans and the good humans, and really just started the biggest asshole of his universe. There are Calvary Flames logos and banners all over this bar, but standing in the background is a cameo by Ollie Palmer, striker for Rex from AFC. On the tip jar is a sign that let's just put the tip in and see how it feels. This Wolverine tries to stick his claws, but they only come out an inch or so, which is a callback to the opening fight of the 2017 Logan film, where similarly drunk Logan, who worked as a chauffeur, like Happy Hogan, tried to fight carjackers when the claws only came halfway out. This is even worse, which shows he's even drunker. Wolverine chugs an entire handle of whiskey, and Deadpool quips that audiences are accustomed to long run times. Deadpool Wolverine at 2 hours and 8 minutes is on the shorter side of MCU movies, at least these big tentpole ones. Deadpool sees that this Wolverine wears a blue and yellow suit under his clothes, which he sees as a good sign, and he actually turns to the camera and says, that only took 20 years, which is a reference to the first X-Men movies with Bryan Singer and Fox refused to put the X-Men in comic accurate colors and even made one of those books.
Actually, the odd side is what you prefer.
Yellow spandex.
But Kevin Feige recently revealed at a press conference that the success of The Matrix in 1999 was part of the reason why, saying there were studio execs in charge who knew that The Matrix had been a big hit, and The Matrix had black leather, so let's put them in black leather. A few months ago, episode 9 of X-Men 97 reclaimed that Logan Cyclops moment from the 2000 film.
Am I going to war or a circus?
What'd you expect? Black leather?
Deadpool drags Wolverine back to the TVA, saying, "On your left, baby girl," in reference to the "on your left" exchanges between Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson, notably when Sam Wilson reappeared through a portal in Endgame. Deadpool says this one does musicals, referring to Hugh Jackman's background as a musical stage actor. Paradox says that you can't swap in any other Wolverine as an anchor, and that this Wolverine was the worst of them all. Wolverine awakens and Deadpool says, "Hey, welcome to the MCU, by the way, you're joining at a bit of a low point." Indeed, after Quantumania, Secret Invasion, and the Marvels, the MCU had a pretty mixed 2023. But I think we should recognize a low point for the MCU is probably a high watermark for most other Hollywood franchises. Deadpool threatens to use his black belt at Karen to snitch on Paradox and his team for going off the book, and Paradox prunes them both to the Void. Now again, the Void in the Loki series is where the TVA prunes redundant people and things from erased timelines. Throughout this part of the movie, though, you can see stuff continuing to drop into the Void from rifts in the sky, as things did in Loki season 1 episode 5. And while it seems to contradict the TVA's new mission of no longer pruning timelines, consider A, we don't see people being pruned now, and B, the universes that lose their anchors still naturally end up in the Void regardless of what the TVA does. Now there's a large 20th Century Fox logo, which itself is a huge meta leap, because it's saying something from outside the reality of any of these movies. A studio title bumper is prunable to the Void, but you know, it's not like the 20th Century Fox logo exists in our reality. Like you can't drive around Century City in LA and be like, oh, there it is. No, it only just exists whenever you watch a movie or a TV show. It's technically kind of like on the border of the media itself, kind of like the Disney Plus loading screen in She-Hulk. But more importantly, symbolically, this represents the movie's theme, that it's not just these characters with their own realities getting erased, it's really their cinematic existence within the minds of viewers that ends up fading from memory with these studio acquisitions. Like sometimes with these streaming wars, when one studio gobbles up another, you can't even find this IP on any streaming platform anywhere, and hopefully you have physical media of it, which, just a reminder, always buy physical media. You never know what's going to happen. But while Universe 1005 and this movie is still intact at this point in the movie, seeing the Fox logo here might suggest that the erosion has begun, that the studio title bumper at the beginning of any of these movies has already gotten erased. But I think my favorite detail is the studio logo is buried in a way that leaves the X in Fox exposed, which is a very deep cut nod to the way the Fox logo would fade to black before several X-Men movies, but leave the X glowing for a few extra frames, because, you know, X-Men, particularly in this film, the unburied X suggests that all other Fox Marvel titles have been pruned, you know, Daredevil and Fantastic Four, but that the X-Men, through Wolverine and Deadpool, are still hanging on by a thread for now. Deadpool wakes up on the dusty ground. To the left is a comic book, Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars #5 from 2015, which shows on the cover God Emperor Doom forming out of the Beyonders and Owen Reese. This is the issue that reveals how Dr. Doom powered up into God Emperor by using the Beyonders' universe death triggers and molecule men as conduits to absorb the Beyonders' power, and it's that power that Doom used to create Battleworld after the incursion between universes 616 and 1610, and that may end up being what happens in Secret Wars. They may even take the Void and build out Battleworld from that. And on top of this comic book is a bottle of Pingo Doce, the juice bottle from the Brazilian plant where Edward Norton Bruce Banner worked in the 2008 Incredible Hulk film. Remember, he pled onto the assembly line, getting a bunch of Pingo Doce drinkers sick, including Stan Lee. We also see Toronto's CN Tower, another Canada reference for Ryan Reynolds, a SHIELD helicarrier that actually might even have been the one that Wade fought Francis on in the 2016 Deadpool movie, a Chitauri Leviathan from the Battle of New York in the 2012 Avengers film, a metal boat that our colleague Evan Yee thinks could be one of the boats lifted from the ocean floor by Apocalypse and X-Men Apocalypse, and then a multi-mast wooden ship that might be the sunken Santa Maria that we saw in the Void and Loki season 1 episode 5, then a circus tent, and then in the further distance of a shots when the caravan rolls up, the Golden Gate Bridge, which is moved by Magneto in X-Men The Last Stand. There's also an overturned car that I was trying to figure out, and a winged helmet that looks like it belongs to a variant of Thor. And just a reminder that elsewhere in the Void is Thor's Throg variant, Throg, and a Thanos copter. A lot of weird stuff in the Void, guys. Now, the opening dome. drums of AC/DC's Hell's Bells ring out as Deadpool and Wolverine face each other down. We get a close-up of Wolverine extending his claws, and I love how his gloves have these little adamantium sheaths on the knuckles. Maybe the suit was designed for Logan by Beast, or Charles, or Scott, or maybe even forged, so that it would have adamantium sheaths just to keep his gloves on straight without his snicked claws messing anything up. Deadpool kickflips his ammo into his guns and he catches in midair, and Wolverine crawls on all fours. It looks so good. This fight is brutal. At one point, Wolverine does this combination of swipe, swipe, undercut, swipe, and Deadpool dodges them all, which is the same fight choreography that Flash Thompson, Joe Manganiello, did with Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire, and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man in 2002. A voice calls out to them from a masked figure atop a lookout point, and it's the voice of Chris Evans. And Deadpool gets so excited. Chris Evans points to an approaching caravan led by the Fantastic Car on the Fantastic Four, a version of which we saw in the 2007 Rise of the Silver Surfer movie, but this is a more retro version. There's a V-16 coupe, the car driven by Red Skull in the first Captain America movie in 2011, but this one is patterned with Tony Stark's Ford Roadster plate pattern with an Iron Man hood ornament instead of the Hydra logo that's there in that Mercedes-Benz hood ornament spot. Then the cupcake truck from the Moon Knight series, the one that Stephen Grant had to drive through the Alps. And then there's this larger tank pulled by several motorcycles, including a Hydra motorcycle from the first Cap film, and I think the motorcycle Steve Rogers drove in that film with a shotgun holster on the side. This tank vehicle has a magnet operated by the Canadarm. That's the attachment that originally paired with the NASA Columbia shuttle, and they fly a flag that's an Avengers logo with an Anarchy A spray painted over it. Among this crew is Tyler Mane returning as Sabretooth from the 2000 X-Men film, and Darth Maul actor Ray Park returning as Toad from the same film. Sabretooth was hit by a redirected optic blast from Cyclops, directed by Jean Grey, and Toad was struck by lightning by Storm, in one of the weirdest lines in all of comic book history.
You know what happens to a Toad struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to anything else.
And both Toad and Sabretooth end up in water. Aaron Stanberg returns as Pyro, last seen in X2 and X-Men The Last Stand, who can manipulate fire but not to create it himself. He was implied to have been vaporized by Jean Grey / Phoenix in X-Men The Last Stand on Alcatraz, but in the Days of Alcatraz rope cut, we see Pyro's Zippo lighter on a memorial, so it was implied that he actually survived those events and actually joined the X-Men in the future, fighting the Sentinels, but now he wears a faded red and yellow suit similar to his comics look. Chris Evans drops and sticks a superhero landing, remember which Deadpool point in the 2016 Deadpool movie, but he lowers his hood, revealing a slightly de-aged face, and the misdirect here is just so perfect. Chris Evans' clothes under his rags show a hint of blue, but his arms are covered and his chest, so you don't see where any red would be or any logo, and the music starts to ramp up into something that sounds like Al Silvestri's Captain America theme or the Avengers theme, but it never quite gets there, and Deadpool thinks he's gonna say, Avengers, assemble! But Evans cuts him off and shouts, Flame on! Yes, it's not Steve Rogers, it's Chris Evans' original Marvel role, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. The blue suit is the Fantastic Four suit from the 2005 and 2007 films. We actually broke those movies down here and here, just in case this happened. Johnny flies over them as his flames cover his whole body.
But it's a different one because the floor was in the middle, the chest instead on the side.
2005 film, but Pyro, who only needs a flame source to manipulate fire, sucks out Johnny's flames and sends him crashing to the ground, pinging off the scaffolding like a Plinko puck. Youch. You know, this is kind of a similar move that Marvel pulled by introducing John Krasinski, Reed Richards, Anson Mount, Black Bolt, and Haley Atwell, Captain Carter, just to do this to them moments later. Sabretooth steps forward to fight Wolverine, but it's over quickly. Sabretooth is beheaded. Deadpool raises his head and says, Behold your queen, Ariosa! Still thinking the Void is like Mad Max, Ike, and Britain. They snare them with the magnets and trap them in cages to take them to see Cassandra. Now, as they head there, on the hillside are a few Narpas, aka Void turkeys, the flightless birds with metallic indigo plumage and purple floating ball heads, which we saw in Loki Season 1, Episode 5, which I believe was named after the daughter of one of the art directors and production designers. Then the caravan now passes the Great Pyramids of Giza, which we also saw in the Void of the TVA, along with the Sphinx that still had its nose with the face of Kang. In the Fantastic Four comics, Pharaoh Rama Tut, before he was known to be a Kang variant, used the Sphinx as his time shuttle. There is a second cage that's being dragged by this caravan that looks like it's holding a TVA hunter. Now, in trailer footage, there is a cuffed TVA agent who gets snatched up by Goliath, and I'm pretty sure, based on BTS footage shown in Welcome to Wrexham, that character would have been Rob Macklin's cameo as a TVA agent, but it seems that they cut this from the movie, which is a pretty hilarious troll by Ryan Reynolds. Johnny describes the Void to them, saying Reed called it a metaphysical junkyard where anything useless goes before it gets annihilated forever. This tells us that Ewan Griffin's Reed Richards also got sent to this Void too, but did not make it. Johnny mentioned Goliath, and Deadpool says, Ooh, Goliath is in this thing from Loki Season 1, Episode 5? Hey, come on, that's my job, Deadpool. They drive past what looks like Brooklyn Bridge as well, and then they arrived in Cassandra's compound, contained within the corpse of Giant Man Scott Lang.
Oh, I'm finally aged.
The skeletal remains of Giant Man was a bleak visual from the Old Man Logan comics, but in that instance it was Hank Pym. Now it's Scott Lang. It is possible that this Giant Scott was that redundant Giant Scott in the background of the Battle of Earth in Avengers Endgame, when we saw him shoving a Leviathan through a portal at the same time that Scott was actually normal size to open the Ant-Man. You should also remember that in the Void in Loki Season 1 Episode 5, there was a giant helmet of Yellow Jacket, so I don't know, this could also be a Giant Scott from a fight with a giant Darren. The hands of Giant Scott open, and inside several other cameos from past Marvel movies for Cassandra's gang. Lady Deathstrike from X2, she was another one of Colonel Stryker's experiments who Wolverine fought. Jason Fleming returns as a teleporter Azazel from X-Men First Class. He was the Hellfire Club with Sebastian Shaw, played by Kevin Bacon. Juggernaut returns from X-Men The Last Stand, played by a new actor replacing Vinny Joe. The tattooed Callisto, a member of the mutant group the Omegas that was allied with Magneto. Now this bald guy with a goatee in the black leather trench coat who we saw in the trailers is actually a variant of Bullseye. His goatee and clothes are exactly like Colin Farrell's in the 2003 Daredevil film, and he has a subtle crosshair scar on his forehead, and during the battle you see him flinging knives. There's also the Punisher villain, the Russian, who's played by Kevin Nash in the 2004 Punisher film, but has also been recast here. There's also a version of Psylocke in this gang, who's played by Olivia Munn in X-Men Apocalypse. We later see her with her whip made from psionic energy. The skull opens and a bald figure rolls up in a wheelchair, and Deadpool thinks it's Charles, but instead it is Cassandra Nova, played by Emma Corrin, who played young Diana Spencer in seasons 3 and 4 of The Crown. So Cassandra Nova was introduced in Grant Morrison's 2001 Is for Extinction X-Men comics as what's called a Mumu Tribe, a cosmic shadow spirit to Charles Xavier, who ended up taking physical form due to Charles's abilities and joined him in the womb of battling him. That's why she says that they're twins. But she survived this battle and got revenge on the X-Men by unleashing a wild sentinel to attack Genosha and kill 16 million mutants. We actually saw a version of this attack in X-Men 97, but it was orchestrated by Bastion. Cassandra later says the TVA sent her to the Void before she could walk, so they must have groomed her there as a baby and made it to her first Multiversal.
60 mil.
And Deadpool thinks it's Charles, but instead it is Cassandra Nova, played by Emma Corrin, who played young Diana Spencer in seasons 3 and 4 of The Crown. So Cassandra Nova was introduced in Grant Morrison's 2001 Is for Extinction X-Men comics as what's called a Mumu Tribe, a cosmic shadow spirit to Charles Xavier, who ended up taking physical form due to Charles's abilities and joined him in the womb of battling him. That's why she says that they're twins. But she survived this battle and got revenge on the X-Men by unleashing a wild sentinel to attack Genosha and kill 16 million mutants. We actually saw a version of this attack in X-Men 97, but it was orchestrated by Bastion. Cassandra later says the TVA sent her to the Void before she could walk, so they must have groomed her there as a baby. To avert a multiversal Genosha massacre. Deadpool calls her entrance ableist, and yes, it is similar to Willy Wonka pretending to need a cane, but then straying into that performative role. Cassandra says that they've been trying to catch that firefly in Johnny Storm for years, and Deadpool quotes, word for word, the string of insults that he says Johnny says about her, when he called her a megalomaniacal, egotistical, psychotic asshole, a finger-licking, dead-inside, pixie slab of third-rate dinosaur nut milk, and she can lick my goddamn cinnamon cling and kick rocks all the way to bald hell. And I like how Johnny stammers here, because we find out in the post-credit scene that he did say all of that, word for word, and Cassandra Nova rips the flesh from his bones, and he collapses in a bloody heap of bone tissue. Deadpool quips, not my favorite Chris, a nod to the 3 white Chris's of the MCU, and of the 3, obviously Chris Hemsworth, Thor would be his favorite. Deadpool also defends that Chris Evans was totally draining the budget of this movie, as he probably would have loved the biggest cameo other than Henry Cavill. Wade says that killing Wolverine will sink the second act of The Music Man, referencing Hugh Jackman's recent role in the revival of The Music Man. Cassandra says that while Charles could invade people's minds with a thought, she has to get her hands dirty. She shoves her extra long fingernails inside of Deadpool's head, and Wade returns to the day he and Vanessa broke up, and Cassandra alters the memory to make Vanessa say, "You'll never fucking matter." And in doing so, you could argue she incepts this concept in Wade's mind, something hard for him to shake for the rest of the film. Cassandra leads to the Deadpool Wolverine 2 alliance, but they grab the jet thruster leg, what looks like the Ironmonger suit from the first Iron Man film that Obadiah Stane was inside of. That
somebody else
actually
says
looks
it's
like
a
it was icy
sentinel
and frozen over. So this could have been from when Tony Stark led Obadiah Stane high up into the atmosphere and triggered that icing problem. But here, maybe Obadiah just kept floating into space and kept icing over. And they use it to fly away from the compound. Deadpool and Wolverine find a diner, and they use this time to get to know each other.
What made you finally wear an honest-to-God costume? Mine's red so they can't see me bleed, but I can see how yellow would be useful too.
Deadpool tells Logan that he wanted to be an Avenger. Wolverine responds, the Avengers, which could tell us that in his universe, there must have been an Avengers alongside the X-Men. Dogpole runs up to them. Dogpole, aka Mary Poppins, is played by Peggy, a crossbreed between a pug and a Chinese crested dog, also known as a Pugese, who won Britain's Ugliest Dog in 2023. Following her is Nicepole, played by a handsomer, younger Ryan Reynolds with no scarring and a man bun, and definitely more of a Canadian accent based on the way he says sorry. Nicepole says, wait till you meet Lady Pole, she just had a baby and can't even notice, which is another reference to Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively, who just gave birth to another baby in February 2023. Deadpool introduces Logan, saying he's usually shirtless, but he let himself go since the divorce, which might be the most brutal line of the movie because Hugh Jackman was married to Deborah Lee Furness from 1996 to September 2023. It just happened. Like, they almost made it from since before Hugh Jackman was famous, so you really thought they were going to go the distance. And this would have happened while Hugh Jackman was shooting this movie. So, yikes. Nicepole lets him borrow his Honda Odyssey that he names Betsy with a coexist bumper sticker. And in this cornfield region, they walk past a ship called the Conquistador, which might be a boat from the 2006 X-Men Volume 2 number 189 that was used by the Children of the Vault when the X-Men were trying to stop the Hecatomb, a Shi'ar weapon of mass destruction. Now they listen to I'm With You by Avril Lavigne, a fellow Canadian, as they drive past some crashed Q ships that were used by Thanos' Black Order in Avengers Infinity War. Deadpool makes fun of Wolverine's yellow and blue suit, asking if his X-Men made him wear it, saying friends don't let friends leave the house looking like they fight crime for the Los Angeles Rams. Let's share his yellow and blue colors. Deadpool touches a nerve, though, and he starts fighting like Spider-Man. And Wolverine pulls over when he realizes Deadpool can't for sure fix his world, and Wade defends that he made an educated wish, a term that I'm going to start using next time I theorize that Taylor Swift is going to show up in a movie. Deadpool shows Wolverine his Polaroid of the 9 most important people in his life. Token name.
Incoming dishes! Dawn Power Wash flies through 99% of grease and grime in half the time.
It absorbs grease 5 times faster. It even replaces multiple cleaning products.
Those suds got game.
Dawn Power Wash, the better grease getter.
We're giving away $10 million in free Domino's pizza.
What did you say?
Yeah, $10 million in free pizza.
Say that again. Sure.
How about 10 million?
Oh, I like that.
Order Domino's now with Uber Eats to claim your free pizza.
Kohl's is our family's favorite place for back-to-school shopping to get all the styles we love at prices that fit our budget.
At Grand Canyon University, we believe in equal opportunity, and the American dream starts.
He uses similar to Marty McFly's family photo of Back to the Future. I think this might stir in Wolverine the 9 most important people in his life, as there probably would have been 9 or so X-Men who were the most important to him. Jean, Charles, Scott, Rogue, Beast, Storm, Gambit, and let's say Morph. Wolverine himself being the 9th. I think there might be something to that number 9, because in the 2017 Logan film, there were reported 7 X-Men who died in the Westchester incident, and that might have been in addition to Logan and Charles. Logan rips Wade a new one, saying he couldn't even keep a relationship alive with a stripper, and that he's going to die alone. And Logan also mentions here that he's been alive for over 200 years, which is interesting because Logan was born in 1832, which would mean that Deadpool might have found this Wolverine in that bar in the year 2032 of that timeline. I think they just gave him some extra room beyond the present day so they could imply that the X-Men in that universe died of some advanced sentinel weaponry controlled by the Prince of Humanity. They fight again. Logan slams Deadpool's head in the radio, similar to Wade and Mercenary slamming heads on the radio in the 2016 movie and changing the stations that way. But briefly, we hear the opening vocals of This Is the Greatest Show from Hugh Jackman's movie The Greatest Showman. But the radio stays on You're the One That I Want from Grease. Sean Levy said in interviews that he wanted each Wolverine vs. Deadpool fight to evolve throughout the movie. So while the first fight was in the wide outdoors, this one is in close quarters in the Honda Odyssey. We stay on that coast as the bumper getting floodier and floodier as they fight long into the night until Wolverine and Deadpool wrapped up in seatbelts and they're both out of it, but a mysterious figure drives them to this home. Inside his home, we see on the ceiling the statue of the Scarlet Witch that we saw in the Darkhold Temple in Multiverse of Madness, meaning that at some point there was a Wanda down here, I think, or maybe that's where she got punished when we saw that glow of red, and she can still be alive. She can still come back. I know she can. There's a chest set that maybe equivalent to Charles Xavier at some point before he died. And then this bed is a giant jawbone of the bed used by Hulk on Sakaar in Thor Ragnarok. And one of the occupants enter Elektra Naxios with Jennifer Garner wielding the size once again, returning to the 2003 Daredevil and 2005 spin-off Elektra. Next, and I can't believe they got him in this movie, Blade. Wesley freaking Snipes, the half-vampire vampire hunter returning after the Blade trilogy from 1998 to 2004. Actually, that first Blade in 98 was the first truly successful Marvel film. And without it, studio most likely would not have committed to proper budgets for X-Men, Spider-Man, and the MCU thereafter. The third movie of that trilogy, Blade Trinity, is also where Ryan Reynolds got his start in Marvel films as Animal King, and he and Wesley Snipes reportedly did not enjoy working together. There's actually a reference to that here, where Deadpool says, "I thought you were retired," and Blade says an R word that's offensive, especially to audiences since 2004, and then tells Deadpool, "I don't like you," and Deadpool says, "Never did." I like that they can at least bury the hatchet for this movie. We see a glowing blade guard of Gambit, Remy LeBeau, played by Channing Tatum. So, the Louisiana-born mutant Gambit was played by Taylor Kitsch in X-Men Origins, and years later, there was a Gambit solo movie in the works with Channing Tatum attached to play the role, but it never made it out of development hell. So, the costume for Gambit here is a live-action version of the purple suit and headband closer to comics to the X-Men animated series in the 90s, or like Marvel vs. Capcom. Deadpool says that he looks like a superhero version of Hawkeye, which is so mean to Clint. And they say there's a fourth member of the group, and Deadpool asks if it's Magneto, but they reveal Magneto is dead. Deadpool says, "They get cheap. It's like Disney showed Pinocchio's face in my ass and started flying." Interesting that he says this because in the days before the release, Marvel's executive producer attached to the project, Wendy Jacobson, revealed that they intentionally released some false rumors to throw fans off. And a couple weeks before the release, some outlets and scoopers reported that Patrick Stewart was going to appear in this movie. Their fourth member, though, is X-23 Laura Daphne Keane, who also lied while on the press tour for The Acolyte, saying that she would not be in this movie. Remy says that every past Resistance member who went up against Cassandra died, including the Punisher, Quicksilver, and Daredevil. Deadpool says, "Oh, Daredevil, I'm so sorry." And Lecture just says, "Oh, lame, it's fine," which is another reference to these actors' real-life relationships and divorces, because Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck met on the set of the 2003 Daredevil, and after Ben Affleck broke it off with Jennifer Lopez, he and Jennifer Garner were married from 2005 onward, but then ran into relationship trouble 10 years later, 2015, and finalized a divorce in 2018. And then after that, Ben Affleck got back together with J-Lo, marrying her in 2022, where you can find plenty of videos online where he looks completely miserable. Quicksilver presumably would have been Evan Peters, since Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver died in Avengers Age of Ultron, whereas Evan Peters' version just kind of petered out in Dark Phoenix. Since Magneto is dead and Cassandra melted his helmet, they plan to use Juggernaut's dome, which Juggernaut, Kane Marco, stepbrother to Charles Xavier in the comics, would wear to keep Charles out of his mind, so presumably would block Cassandra's psionic energy as well. Wolverine confesses to Laura that his X-Men begged him to wear that suit, but one day when he was away from their mansion drinking, the humans arrived to go mutant hunting. And it never specified what that group was. It could have been the Prince of Humanity, the FOH, with like power dampening weapons, and maybe Sentinel backup from Uzi T, Bastion, Operation Zero Tolerance. But Wolverine continues to wear this suit, he says, to remember his family. And he tells Laura,
"Whoever you think I am, you got the wrong guy."
You were always the wrong guy. Till you weren't.
So on their way back to the compound, they pass the Golden Palace of Asgard approved there. There's also what looks like a crashed Guardians of the Galaxy ship that Milano, they talk about the Punisher, and Deadpool asks, "Which Punisher?" There have been like 5 of them. There have actually been 4 big ones. There's Dolph Lundgren, there's Thomas Jane, there's the late Ray Stevenson, and then there's John Bernthal. But it probably would have been the Bernthal one in their group because he's returning to play Frank Castle in Daredevil Born Again. But Blade says there's only been one Blade, and there's only going to be one Blade, which I think was written to be a joke at Blade's expense, because in addition to the MCU Mahershala Ali Blade in the works, there was the Kirk Stinky Dingus Jones Blade TV series on Spike in 2006. But hearing this line in the movie, at least right now, it kind of sounds like Wesley Snipes is getting the last laugh, because the MCU Mahershala Ali Blade movie keeps getting delayed with a revolving door of directors and screenwriters. They break back into the compound and Wolverine joins them. Laura puts on her sunglasses that she got at the gas station in Logan. I love that she always kept these melee erupts. It's so cool. Blade kills Lady Deathstrike. Wolverine and Deadpool make it up to Cassandra's room in the skull. Meanwhile, Blade says, "Some other still trying to ice skate uphill," which is a callback to that great line from the 1998 Blade film.
"Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill."
Actually, this line came from Snipes' mind itself when he was discussing Deacon Frost with the Blade filmmakers. He described the character as a kind of guy who would ice skate uphill, and they loved that line so much that they worked it into the film. And we have to be honest that is the kind of you talking about energy that Snipes brought to the role, and I think that is the same kind of just trusting ego that Ryan Reynolds carried into his take on Deadpool. Cassandra toys with Wolverine as Blade kills Toad and Gambit kills the Russian, and Laura severs Juggernaut's legs and ankles. She flings her backpack containing Juggernaut's dome helmet up to Deadpool. Cassandra has taken Logan into what I assume is an astral plane with a row of gravestones and distant screams. Presumably the X-Men the day the humans came to the mansion when he was away. Cassandra, who chooses to stay in the void to rule her own little kingdom, tells Logan that he can escape his pain by staying with her, and she can silence all the voices. And in that moment, the screen is cut out, but not because of Cassandra, but because in this moment, Deadpool has placed Juggernaut's helmet on her head. Cassandra said that she's gonna boil their brains on an atomic level while pleasuring herself. Only she didn't use the term pleasuring herself. To the Enya box set, and Deadpool gasps, "There's a box set?" Because Deadpool was a big fan of Enya in Deadpool 2. Her songs Caribbean Blue and Only Time were featured in that film. Pyro, who was working a side deal with Paradox, shoots Cassandra and begins to make a speech, but Wolverine cuts him off, saying, "Not everyone gets to make a speech." Wolverine appeals to his and Cassandra's mutual connection to Charles, and he says Charles would have never stopped trying to bring her home if he knew about her. So when they take off the dome, Cassandra rewards them, saying an amateur magician came through the void and she wore his skin around for 4 days, preparing a course to Doctor Strange. And remember, in that initial void shot in Loki Season 1, Episode 5, there was a Sanctum Sanctorum over on the left side of the screen. That's probably how Strange got there. She produces a Sling Ring, which if you look real closely, is a piece of the Time Stone and the Reality Stone on either side. Sling Rings normally open portals in geographical space within a single universe, so when Mordo first introduced them in the 2016 Doctor Strange film, he said that they were used to travel the multiverse, but this Sling Ring must allow the wielder to travel not just through space, but across realities and through time. So Cassandra uses this to open a portal, and they run in slow motion. We hear Jimmy Durante's "Oh, you see." As the other Marvel heroes look up in pride, they leap into the portal and cross the threshold right as a lion was about to devour them. They drop down into the Trimax parking lot of 10005.
That's Wolverine.
Same great taste, with more protein and 0 grams of sugar. Join over 1 million customers at MagicSpoon.com.
For a better clean with less, it's got to be Tide.
No matter what kind of teeth you gotta brush, Oral-B Electric cleans better with one simple touch. Oral-B's dentist-inspired room brushes hugs them.
You damn straight it is. Disney brought him back. They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
What it's worth, Hugh Jackman is 55. Marvel can't really make him keep him back for the next 35 years. Cassandra figures out that Pyro was working with Paradox, and she confronts Paradox by the TVA outpost in the subway station on Wayne Street. She invades his mind to discover the Time Ripper, and decides she wants to use the Time Ripper to destroy every universe, and so everything is in the void with her, where she can play God. She flings Wolverine and Deadpool down the street into this store. This is Liefeld's Just Beat, Orthopedic Solutions, where it brings to comics writer and artist Rob Liefeld, co-creator of the Deadpool character, who over the years became known for underdrawing characters' feet. Also for drawing characters with such insane bulky proportions that they would need orthopedic stools in knee braces in order to walk. A portal brings in all the other Deadpools, starting with Mary Poppins, followed by Nice Pool. Wade tells the dog to choose between Original Recipe or Van Wilder, referring to Women's 2002 raunchy comedy. And Nice Pool laughs and says, "I can gently tap on the fourth wall too." And then he simply just turns to the audience to say, "The proposal," and turns back. And of course, while Prime Deadpool would refer to him using a raunchy comedy as a reference, I like how Nice Pool is like, you know what, let's choose a fun rom-com with Sandy Bullock. But following these two, it's the rest of the Deadpool core that Nice Pool warned about earlier. He says that there are a total of 100 of them. The ones featured prominently are Lady Deadpool, or Lady Pool, never unmasked, but voiced by Blake Lively. In the comics, Wanda Wilson is from Earth 3010. There's Headpool, a severed Deadpool head, who in the comics comes from Earth 2149, the Marvel Zombies universe where he was infected from a bite by the Silver Surfer. This version of Headpool has buck teeth and wears a helicopter rotor from a striped old-timey leather football helmet. Headpool is actually voiced by Nathan Fillion. There's Kidpool from Earth 10330, a misfit from Xavier's school who steals 2 lightsaber-like swords from the Danger Room, but I think this is a different Kidpool. There's Cowboy Deadpool, aka the Deadpool Kid from Earth 1108. He's also part of the Deadpool core in the comics. He's wanted for bank robbery, arson, software piracy, and stampeding picnic goats through an orphanage. Here, Cowboy Deadpool is voiced by Matthew McConaughey. And just to run through several more, there's Baby Pool, and a Deadpool wearing a red, white, and green Wrexham AMC colored armor with the dragon logo. Kidpool is actually voiced by Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's daughter, Inez Reynolds. And Baby Pool is played by their youngest child, who was born in 2023, that we mentioned earlier, Olin Reynolds. There's also a female Deadpool 2099. This is Ward Saga Wilson from Earth 16356. There's also a Golden Age Deadpool, and then there's Zenpool, who's a pacifist Deadpool from the Avengers vs. X-Men 2014 crossover comic event. There's also a Samurai Deadpool. There's a Scottish Deadpool with a kilt, and I think this one might be my favorite, a Deadpool dressed like a circus master of ceremonies, like Hugh Jackman's P.T. Barnum costume from The Greatest Showman. Now, there's also a dance pool in the credits played by a professional dancer named Polly, but I think he actually might have been the dance double doing the NSYNC choreography in the opening sequence, because I don't know if Ryan Reynolds is that good at dancing. So our Deadpool, Deadpool Prime, asks the others if they can just be done with the multiverse, saying it's just been miss after miss after miss, and that the Wizard of Oz originally did it the best. Now, I totally get multiverse fatigue, but miss after miss after miss? I mean, Loki, What If, and Spider-Man No Way Home were all very well received multiverse stories. Multiverse of Madness, maybe mixed, but Marvel fans wanted more multiverse from that movie, not less. Everything Everywhere All at Once won Best Picture. The animated Spider-Verse films are beloved. So I'm wondering what Ryan Reynolds is referring to. The Flash? By The Wizard of Oz? Does Reynolds think that any dream reality movie counts as multiverse? Or do we think Reynolds knows that some critics are going to say his movie here is not as good as those other examples and he's just trying to get ahead of it? I just think that Deadpool is trying to get a rise out of these Deadpool Corps members to get them to open fire all at once as he uses Nice Pole as a human shield. But Nice Pole doesn't have healing powers.
You really are God's perfect idiot, aren't you? The answer is yes.
This is a callback to the opening credits of the 2016 Deadpool film, where instead of starring Ryan Reynolds, it says starring God's perfect idiot. Deadpool gets Nice Pole's gold-plated Desert Eagles, and he and Wolverine march out to face the full Deadpool Corps set to Madonna's Like a Prayer. The trailer shot always stopped before we got to this part, but now, finally, Wolverine pulls on his mask from behind his cowl. The mask comes on right as Madonna sings, and it feels like home. And hell yeah, it does. In an incredible long-take brawl, Wolverine and Deadpool just slash through these 100 Deadpools. Deadpool's first move, I love this, to just pose on the lamppost, kind of like a pole dancer. They kill a bunch of Deadpools on a city bus, then on the side is an ad for Stan Lee Steamer since 1922, with a photo of Stan Lee. Stan Lee was born in 1922. And on the back of the bus is another ad, Raimondo Marvelous Morning Soup, which I think could be a tribute to Raymond Ray Chan, a longtime Marvel art director who passed away in April of this year. And he actually gets a wonderful tribute in the credits right above this movie being dedicated to Henry Delaney, Rob Delaney's son, who tragically passed away in 2018. But the Deadpools all regenerate and Shogun Deadpool has baby arms, kind of like Deadpool's baby hand in the first movie and baby legs when he was healing in the second movie. Peter arrives wearing Deadpool's suit from his locker, and him saying that Wade and Logan are with him is just enough to win these Deadpools over because they all independently love their Peter. And yes, Peter's package is massive. I think that's what B-15 is on later. Cassandra connects to the Time Ripper, and it begins to spaghettify this reality, the VFX looking just as it did in Loki Season 2. Paradox explains that the Time Ripper is fed by twin beings of matter and antimatter that, invisibly connected by a circuit, would disrupt the Time Ripper but annihilate whoever was that circuit. Wolverine tries to make the sacrifice play, but Deadpool takes his place, referencing Spock by putting his hand on the glass in a kind of salute. Deadpool says that he's not doing this because he needs it, but because they need him too. Echoing what Happy Hogan told him being an Avenger was all about.
Waited a long time for this team up.
But since Deadpool can't reach the other beam, Wolverine has to break in, grab his hand, and connect to the other beam. Wolverine's top shreds off, revealing a shredded torso. The children's choir cover sings the words like a prayer, which perfectly reflect what's happening here. At the midnight hour, I can feel your power. Just like a prayer, I know you'll take me there. Logan and Wade validate each other as the best Wolverine, and in turn, a true X-Man. Cassandra is obliterated, the Time Ripper is destroyed, and it seems like Deadpool and Wolverine are wiped out. B-15 arrives, Woon Saku returning from Loki, and looks like she's been promoted to a judge status. Paradox tries to lie about what really happened, but Deadpool and Wolverine return, still alive. Deadpool explains that if only one of them tried to hold the beams together, they would have died, but both of them together, listening to Madonna, indestructible. Personally, I think they were spared by God of Stories Loki, who was moved by their sacrifices, but his sacrifice looked a lot cooler, let's be honest. Paradox is arrested, and B-15 says,
"Let me show you something huge."
Deadpool responds to this saying, that's what Scoutmaster Kevin used to say. Wade brought up Scoutmaster Kevin in Deadpool 2.
Well, like Scoutmaster Kevin used to say, that's the first time for everything, son.
And I think Ryan Reynolds named him Kevin after Kevin Feige. B-15 says that they saved their timeline from extinction and says that there's a lot of work to do, which I think could be a clue setting Universe 1005 on a collision course with 616 in a future Avengers vs. X-Men incursion. B-15 promises she'll see what she can do about bringing Laura, Elektra, Gambit, and Blade home. So the fact that Laura shows up at the party suggests that Elektra's back home in some Daredevil universe, Blade is back home in his universe, and Gambit is who the hell knows where. Deadpool and Logan get shawarma, calling back back the ending of the Battle of New York in the 2012 Avengers film, Deadpool says, "You know the Avengers discovered shawarma," which is just such a funny line because, like, I think a lot of people didn't even know what shawarma was until they saw it in Avengers. Wade brings Dogpool and Logan home to be flying out. As we're hearing Aretha Franklin's "You're All I Need to Get By," and I love the song so much. We end the film at the party with Wade's 9 most important people, with a few more: Laura, Logan, and Dogpool. And while Vanessa and Wade aren't back together yet, they do share a look. The final shot has Deadpool and Wolverine's masks side by side on top of, ooh, what's that? A box of Biden's famous pizza. The same pizza that Wade was eating in the chronologically earliest scene in the 2016 Deadpool film. Green Day's Good Riddance plays over the credits, showing outtakes from all of Fox's Marvel productions, both ones that had characters featured in this film and ones that didn't. I love this. It's kind of like how movies from the 90s and the aughts used to end, where showing outtakes and just playing some great, wistful, late 90s punk music. And in addition to the post-credit scene, which I talked about in another video, these credits do end including not just the Marvel Studios logo, but the 20th Century Fox logo. And I love this little touch, because as these studios gobble each other up with acquisitions, as a movie lover, I just kind of have a weird soft spot for studio logos on old titles that I love. And I always get bummed when I see the post-Disney buyout version of the Fox logo where they removed the word Fox. That 20th Century Fox fanfare music was composed by Alfred Newman, the legendary composer and head of a dynasty of great Hollywood composers and musicians, including David Newman, Thomas Newman, and Maria Newman, and Alfred's nephew, Randy Newman. And before we say goodbye to the 20th Century Fox logo forever, I just want to end with that fun little bit of the industry trivia. Thank you so much to all of you for watching, and thank you to our editors who worked their butts off to get this breakdown out to you on release day. Comment down below with your favorite part of this movie. Follow me at EA Boss. Subscribe to all 3 channels of the New Rockstars Network. Breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Soldiers alternates going back to school. So there's been a lot of people
tastes just like you remember, with more protein and 0 gram sugar. Feed your inner child at magicfood.com.
I'm not finna hit this weed, cause fuck that. I don't feel like I need it right now. I'm about to get in my mouth like a bad bitch.
Yo, we got some new memes here, man. This must have just dropped. I think this just dropped, like, literally while I was streaming or some shit like that, because I did not see this before I was streaming, so we're gonna go ahead and check this out, bro.
Feel like for real and no 7 on my shoes. I scream and start, stop a mouth.
It's a man down.
Baby model custom PC, get it
Stand down.
From the bottom, from the action, we don't play around. Metal but like with a nigga, we gon' spray him down.
Oh shit! Alright, let's check it out.
Jake, would you F a fan? Bro, what kind of question? Call. Yes, call me Vladimir, cause I'll be pooping shit.
I wouldn't get this in your best man. You won't lose your best hitter. It's a man down. Baby model custom PC, get it fanned out. From the bottom, from the action, we don't play around. Metal but like with a nigga, we gon' spray him down.
Oh shit! Alright, let's check it out.
Oh shit.
Jake, would you F a fan? Bro, what kind of question? Call. Yes, call me Vladimir, cause I'll be pooping shit.
I wouldn't get this in your best man. You won't lose your best hitter.
Alright, enjoying the movie. Accidentally says you see. Oh yeah, speaking of Suicide, the new Suicide Squad isn't fire. I've been hearing some crazy good things about it. I'm probably gonna check it out this weekend with the wife. Yes.